Hey, Ian. Hello. He's getting himself ready. Ian, just so you know, we're streaming already.
Hello.
We're streaming already, buddy. He hasn't got his headphones in, so I've got to say it again. Can you hear me, mate?
Hello, hello, hello.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, we're streaming already, just thought I'd warn you.
Hello, world.
Yeah. So I thought we'd start streaming on. We played a bit of music before. I was just sitting here twiddling my thumbs. So, hi everyone. Yeah. We've been streaming for about 7 minutes. I played a couple of tracks off the Gates album just because I was bored. Yeah, we should have everyone here today. I haven't heard from anyone saying they're not coming, so you guys can get to see when they pop in, which is a pretty, boring thing, I think. But, I mean, it might be interesting for you guys. Now, so if you're watching this on the replay, we technically haven't started the show yet. So there might be about 25, 30 minutes of pre-show banter. And don't thumbs down it, because the show, I'll make sure the video description edits show when, the right stuff is in. You can just click ahead and you can go to whatever part you like. And that's the beauty of watching it on the replay. But the best thing about watching it live is you get to experience the electrons hitting you in the face as they happen. That's the best thing. Smacking you in the face like droplets of hail on a winter's day. How's everyone? How's the chatties going? Big hello to all the chatties. I think I saw the first guys that jumped in were James and Stephen Smith. Big hello to you guys. And then I think I'm Grown jumped in, and Azio Head, and then Synchrotron, Andy's there. And then I think JP Page 2 jumped in. Then we saw Henrik. And Man with Beards there. Awesome. So we're getting a few people. Now, the show this week is a little bit light on the hardware news. So we do have enough, definitely enough to talk about. So, and I kind of feel like we can rant a little bit. We can dig a bit. We can do it. We can do a couple of things that I think will be interesting about the hardware.
Like
anyway, we love a good rant because we're old and giddy, aren't we? There's some really interesting products in Price Watch, so you guys will enjoy that. And I think the memes. There's a lot of memes this week. If anyone's been on Discord, you'll probably already know what they are. But don't go peeking now, though. Just wait. It's only a few minutes away. You'll get to see them. There's some pretty funny ones. I do like that segment. I kind of feel like it's our weekly release. Do you know what I mean? Like we can nerd out on synths all we like, but it's nice to have a bit of a sense of humor, isn't it?
Definitely.
Who else jumped into chat? Who's lurking? Let's see if I can find out if who's lurking here. No, it's not sharing me any of that information yet. It's telling me that there's 22 concurrent viewers at the moment. I mean, I don't know how accurate this crap is that YouTube puts up. It could just be five real people and the rest spammers.
The rest of bots, yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Pat Brady's jumped in, and Max jumped in. Big hello to you guys. Yeah, we're early. What's wrong with being early? I actually like being early. Are you an early person? Like, if you have to go somewhere, do you like being 5-10 minutes early?
Oh, yeah, all right. Yeah. I'm always, I like to be, I mean, if I'm going for a train, I like to be like 20 minutes, half an hour before it's due.
Yeah. I like to get to the airport early. I like to, I don't like to be stressed about having to rush or wait in queues and things like that. So I'm an early bit of an early.
I don't like getting up early. That's definitely not on the cards.
Getting up early, I'm used to it. Like, I mean, having kids, geez, I've had kids for 20 years, so I'm used to having kids now. Like, that's a decent.
I've had kids for 32 years.
Yeah, well, there you go. But not with you every day, right?
No, exactly.
They've left.
Yeah, actually, it's quite different when
here.
They actually. Yeah, when they disappear, it's quite.
Well, it's another chapter, really, isn't it? When they disappear.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's great when they come and visit, though. It's really good fun.
Then you have to worry about them being not there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else jumped in? Jax jumped in. Ooh, Mr. Kent Spong's in there as well. Chris Bartley's there. 5 minutes early means you're on time. Exactly, mate. That's my little sort of thing that I say. You see keyboards, yeah? Do you want to have a look? There's keyboards everywhere here. I guess are you newish, Chris? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Jump in and if you're wondering, you can jump onto the show too. I will go back to this view. And what's the link? The Zoom link is there. It's also pinned in chat, so you can actually just click on it. Synth Nerd in Chicago. Wow. Well, if you haven't gathered, I'm Australian, and I'm based in Perth, which is a western side of Australia, the most remote city in the world. One of the most remote. I don't know. Remote, anyway. It's like a blimmin' long way away from anything. Anyway, so Zoom's there if you want to jump in.
Andy says Andy Synchrotron is too shy. That's complete rubbish.
That is absolute BS, Mr. Andy.
I missed his show again today. I need to watch it on replay.
I can only watch his shows on replay because I'm always setting up for this, and I get yelled at by the wife if I do too much setup time of this.
Mm.
Well, it's not a bad,
bad
thing. It's fair enough.
Busy.
Saturday's busy. Like we've got hockey, netball, another game called floorball, which is like a Swedish / I don't know where it's based. It's like an indoor version of indoor hockey with a cross of ice hockey, and it's got a plastic ball, little holes in it, so they're very very light, and it's extremely addictive. The kids absolutely love it. So my kid's been playing it for a couple of years now. My youngest, that is. My daughter played it for a bit. She got bored with it, but I think it's more aimed at the younger, sort of 8 to 15 sort of age. I mean, adults play it in, like, some adults go crazy with it.
That's really cool. I mean, because I remember doing all that sort of. You become a taxi driver, don't you, for your kids? Really?
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I jump in the car and they all get in. They close the door. They put their seatbelts on and they go Uber. And they hate it when I do that.
Yeah, our youngest did roller hockey for a few years.
Oh, roller hockey! Wow.
Yeah, that was quite cool. Yeah.
Wow, I can hear rain.
It might be here because
No, it's here. It's here.
Oh no, it's not here. We've had showers this morning. It's not supposed to be raining, but it is. We've had showers so far.
This part of my house, I've got a really kind of architectural design house, but this part of my house, there's a flat roof above me, so there's not much different distance between the actual ceiling and where the outside is. But if you go through that door that way, there's like I went the wrong way. If you go through that door that way, it's like a massively high ceiling 2-story with pitched roof, so you don't hear rain at all in that part of the house. But in here, it's really loud. Like if I'm sitting in here working and it's raining, I'll put the headphones on because they're semi-noise. These aren't noise cancelling because they've got the open backs, but they're semi-noise cancelling. If you turn the music up a bit, you cancel out the rain. Yeah. Muso. Mr. Robbie's here.
He is.
I wonder if he's still got the bandage on his ear.
I mean, that could be a plaster, couldn't it, really? But it's a statement piece. Is Mr. Trump's ear bandage.
I mean, like all the we're streaming, by the way. Daren, hello, Daren.
Hi, Daren.
Hey. Oh, yeah. Hi, Ed.
Say hi to the world.
Hi to the world.
See, did you just see that, guys? Daren just pops in, and he literally doesn't have anything to do. He just pops in, and it works. So don't be like, guys. You don't need to be worried about jumping on the show. It's really that easy.
It is that easy.
You literally just pop in, turn your camera on, turn your mic on. You're done. You're ready. I mean, you can look as sexy as I do, and face the world if you want. So don't worry about how you look. Who knows what I'm wearing underneath here? Like the newsroom reader, right?
I'm naked from the waist downwards.
God, well, it's hot over here at the moment. I don't know. It's only
it's not that hot here today. I mean, it was really, really hot yesterday. It was so hot yesterday. I had to take the car up to pick up my bicycle wheel, and it was too hot to touch the steering wheel and the gear knob. It was that hot here yesterday. It's not today. It's quite cool. So I think you might have
it's just not cooling down. Even though it's cool outside or cooler, it's not cooled down in the studio. The studio's trapping the heat, so I'm waiting for it. Needs 2 days before it'll cool down.
28 degrees. Wow, that's like a sweat factory, Mr. Andy.
Yeah,
that's only probably about 8 degrees.
Wow,
more than where it is here at the moment.
The good thing about it, this studio is I have a window up here which doesn't open massively, but obviously it allows air to come in. And having the door open and propping the door open is brilliant. It's great.
The modular
I've got the window open, so you might hear traffic and stuff. Not traffic, because it's a quiet street, but the odd car or God knows what going past.
If I stick my hand kind of in the little gaps that I've got in here, like if I stick my hand in that gap there, you can feel, you know, definitely a temperature difference. Like it's warmer in that cabinet than it is, you know. So I actually think that the modular system would probably increase the temperature in here by a little bit. Definitely in summer it would affect it, and the lights and everything.
I've certainly noticed my Tascam Model 24 kicks off a lot of heat.
Probably got a decent power supply on it.
Yeah, it has.
22 in lovely Chicago, 16 degrees Celsius here, or centigrade if you're from the old school. Celsius was what we call it. We were talking about temperature last week. Convert it to Fahrenheit for all the Americans and those people putting an F after their temperature. I mean, like, I like to say F after some of the temperatures that we get. I don't blame you. He heats his home with his Moog 1. You're a lucky boy with a Moog 1. Jeez. It's a decent synth you've got there. I mean, you throw away all your other synths. You don't need. According to Moog, that's all you need. According to them. But then you go in their shop and they'll tell you that you also need a Mother 32 and a subharmonicon, all the Moga Foga pedals that they ever released, blah, blah, blah. All right, so what are we looking at? 3 minutes before show. Andy's just popped in. Look at that. See, proof.
You guys hear me okay?
We can, and we're streaming.
Cool. Oh.
And here comes Chris. Hello, Chris.
Good evening.
We're streaming,
Chris.
by the way.
Hi, Andy.
Sorry, what was that?
Hi,
we're streaming.
Chris.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
There you go.
So surprise us, eh?
I'm just look, I'm a decent guy. I'm not going to throw you guys under the bus.
It's all right. I don't care. I didn't say anything crazy yet, so.
Yeah. There he is. Hey. All right, we can start the show. Why don't we do that? We'll start at two and probably 1 and a bit minutes early, with all the pre-show banter before. So, here we go. It's official. It's episode 257. You've made it. You've made it to an increased number by +1. Well done. Synth Geekery show. If you haven't worked out what that's about, it's about synths. Don't know what that is? Well, bye. We are here with a whole bunch of cool people. We've got Daren, we've got Andy, we've got Ian, we've got Chris, we've got Chatties. It's a smorgasbord of awesomeness on this week's show, I think. And don't forget, we should always say a big, warm thank you to all the channel members and Patreons that support my channel, support this community. We'll call it the Synth Geekery community. It's an amazing thing that we've got going, and we've been doing it for over 5 years, plus all the stuff we've done before that, that's for sure. So it's awesome. Let's keep it going for another 5+, I'd say. Right, big show to get on to. I think we'll start with how's your week been? Starting with random button press. Chris.
Of course. How are my levels, people? Am I loud enough? What do the chatties say? I can't see the chatties.
I think you're quiet. I think you're quiet. I think you're really quiet. I'd get closer to the mic.
How's that? Does that sound sexier?
More.
Really? Okay. Perhaps it's not on the right.
It's definitely on the right mic, yeah. But I just think you can come up a few dB, mate.
Okay. How about that? Does that sound better?
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Okay, so we hit the sweet spot. Hello, everyone. Yes, I've had a busy week. I released some music on my YouTube channel with a music video. Yes. So that was good to get that finally done. Thank you everyone who's made comments and given me feedback, and that's all good. Synthy news, I have ordered some stuff. I spent money again.
You have indeed.
I have indeed. So I've ordered a Korg WaveStation desktop.
Okay.
So I was waiting on the page refreshing the page, waiting for them to get stock in, and I've been doing that for a couple of months. So I haven't stopped doing it. So I figured I still want it. So it's probably a good desk. So that one, I pushed the button on that one.
Is it version 2?
It is version 2. It
good.
is the, whatever it is, 64 note polyphony or some ridiculous.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it's the new one. It's the desktop. So, yes, looking forward to that. And I also pushed the button on the Behringer Oneroy.
Oh, yes.
Oneroy, I'll get it right. It's written up there so that I can read it phonetically, and I still couldn't because I'm on a stream. And I'm talking.
It's a very sexy looking synth voice, that one.
I was sold on it from the demos at Super Booth, and then in addition to that, there was a great video by DivKid that was put out this week, which I'm only like a fraction of the way through. It's like an hour long. He went deep. He went very deep. And I'm just going, this is on its way to me. This is cool.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
pretty happy with my decision there. It's if I describe it to you, Rants, it's a bit, to me, it's going to be a bit like the Sea Legs is to you.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, it's kind of similar, sort of different take on it, but sort of similar, sort of, as a hub of sort of processing and generation of sounds and the infinite reverbs and the delays, and it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, it's fiddling. It is lots of fiddling, but it is a DIY kit, so I've got a bit of fiddling to do first.
Oh, okay.
With soldering on. Yeah. No, I know I'm a brave person.
Do you save a fair bit by getting it DIY, or is it only just a little bit?
You do save quite a bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Over $100, I think, Australian.
Good.
But yeah, it is quite a big panel, so it is going to be a bit of time to put it together. But mainly, it's just a control panel going to that little owl board. So it's a lot like my Behringer over here, which I built. So it doesn't petrify me. So I thought I'd have a go at that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really justify the price. Have to admit now, I probably would have just built one and still been, pretty happy with my decision. But this way, it's like it's bonus, providing I don't stuff anything up when I build it. But we don't make mistakes, do we?
How often do we do that? Like I've built. I don't think I've stuffed anything up yet. I've built a whole bunch of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
The only obstacles I've had doing DIY builds has been missing parts, bridged solder joints, or put the wrong component in the wrong place, and you have to deal with desoldering something that could be quite difficult. These are the biggest disasters I've had. I've never had a dead-on arrival or a component that just doesn't work straight out of the box. So, and that's also in my experience in manufacturing as well. I may have burnt a component testing it, but they don't go. They get put straight in the bin, obviously. But yeah. So that's the only thing, I guess. Be careful if you're going to test it. Make sure you do it in a way that's non-destructive. Multimeters are good. Everyone uses your multimeters. Okay, so other than that, what have I done this week that is synthy? Oh, let's have a look. What do we have here? I've been doing this thing here, which is
the COBOL
patch sheets for the COBOL. I've been punching hundreds of holes I printed and designed these out. Well, let's face it, I stole it from Behringer manual, and did tweaks necessary to actually make it intersect with the right holes and stuff. One A4 sheet, I managed to fit in all, and they just cut it down the middle, and put the two halves together, and now I've got patch sheets for the Cobalt, which is timely because I've just finished a track with the Cobalt, and now I want to remember that patch. Because I might want to come back to it again later.
If you do it on an A3 printer, you could probably do it as a one sheet too.
If you had an A3 printer, if I had an A3 printer, but I don't, I have an old laser printer.
You can come up here and use mine if you want.
Oh, he's got an A3.
Well, it's the wife's business's printer.
Of course it is.
We will just borrow it.
Photography, awesome. Yes, I didn't even think of that.
Yes.
Okie dokie. Well, that's possibilities. So did I do anything else interesting? I don't have anything else interesting written down on my sheet. But hello. More sort of quality of life stuff. Checking up on making sure that modules I've sent are going to the right place. More to-do things because there's things I've got to do that I keep forgetting to do, like register my Moog products. Why did I forget to do that?
You don't need to do that.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things where it's like these days doesn't really matter anymore, but nah.
Yeah.
Half time it's just so that they can get your your account set up. So we've got your email address. Actually, I'm going through an potential email migration at the moment because the people who provide my email have turned around and said, yeah, it was free, but now it's not free. So I need to make some decisions on that.
Right.
But that's no problem. It's just over the years I've accumulated far too many mailboxes because I came into it when we were all in the when the internet was very much you bought your internet connection and you got an email system and a unlimited number of mailboxes. And these days it's like, what do you mean you want multiple email addresses? You can open ones, but you'll be paying for each one of them. It's like, what about a multi-mailboxing? Yeah, we multiply the amount by the number of mailboxes. This is a modern society's way of charging things these days.
Or you can just set up a virtual server and host your own email server.
Well, that's true.
It's not too hard to do.
Yeah, the hosting options I've looked at aren't too bad anyway. Better than the prices I'm being quoted by these original people. So other than my parents wanting to keep one of their email addresses, so they'll be paying for that, I'll probably migrating most of my email addresses off to another service, or I'll be doing. I also do a lot of aliasing. You probably know a fair bit about this, Rant, where you just basically have a whole bunch of different email addresses, and it basically catches them all.
Yeah,
and they go to one particular account.
Yeah,
it's wonderful for
we use
all the subscriptions that we have now.
I should do something like that.
We use Gmail.
I really should do something like that. So I use Gmail.
Yeah, I've got. I had a Gmail.
It costs a few dollars, but it's worth it with all the security and stuff that you get.
Yeah, no, I just connected my Gmail to my Thunderbird mail browser thing.
So how come you're paying for Gmail?
We've got G Suite, which is a business account. So Gmail comes as part of it, and we've got like multiple domains that hang off. So our emails aren't at gmail.com. Our emails are at whatever our domains are. Like for example, at Ranzee.com, which you guys have probably sent emails to, and that's a Gmail server. Yep. Right. All right. Who else we got? We got Ian. Which is this button. Hey.
Hello. Good day, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning. 2 weeks. I wasn't here last week, was I? So 2 weeks ago I played the Wells, which is about a 15-20 minute drive from here. Their EMOM. What a fantastic night that was. In fact, I've already put a couple of videos up from that. There's another one to come up at some point in the future. I haven't finished it yet. So, the Southwest does have the electronic open mic nights and that type of thing. So, more of them as we go on. Last weekend was Gear Fest. which I have to say, it was great to see people. That was the highlight of the whole thing. Seeing Robbie and everybody was fantastic. I was underwhelmed by the whole thing, really. I did play on a couple of sequential, the Prophet 6 and stuff like that, which I quite liked, but I'll never probably buy. But I was, I think Nick Batt had said to me that he thought it was subdued, and I think it was really. So I'm not so sure I would necessarily go next year. The highlight was one of the talks. A guy gave a talk on the remastering David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust album for Dolby Atmos. And I missed the first 15, 20 minutes, but that talk for an hour was absolutely brilliant. It was fantastic. What else have I been doing? I've been messing around with the circuit because I haven't played with the circuit for a while, so I went back to that. I am currently in scheduling hell because in 10 days we go off to Edinburgh Fringe, so I am trying to organise tickets and when we're going to see stuff. We're looking at about 40 shows in 10 days, 12 days, something like that, which is going some. And
is that revolving door stuff, that?
Well, it is a bit. I mean, and actually, there are things that because we're going. What we're finding this year more than ever is we're going right at the beginning, which what we normally would do. But some shows they clearly can't afford to go to Edinburgh Fringe for the whole month because it is ridiculously expensive from a theatre company or even a musician playing for the whole month. Because everything is ridiculously expensive, from accommodation to renting the venues and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So we are seeing lots of artists only going for a week or 10 days, and there's an awful lot because there's a lot of stuff we're actually going to miss, purely and simply because it starts after we've actually left, things like that. Which I haven't really noticed that in previous years, but it is getting stupidly expensive. I mean, we're staying in student accommodation. It's eye-watering how much it costs, to actually stay. Because we need to stay somewhere reasonably close. It's about a 15-minute walk to everywhere. Whereas, a lot of people actually not even stay in Edinburgh. They'll stay completely out of town, that sort of stuff.
But it's a shame that it's so expensive because you miss out on some of the, the artists that would normally, would go because it's, affordable. But because it's expensive, it's kind of keeping them away.
It is. There is the free fringe, which is always... I mean, the free fringe is basically, it'll be above a pub or something like that, and it'll be what you can afford, which is a really, really good element of it. And that's quite... You can go to everything just on the free fringe if you want. It is predominantly comedy-based, so because we cover everything from comedy to theatre to music, there's almost no theatre on the free fringe. But yeah, and it is such a shame because when we first went in the 80s, I mean, it was a proper fringe,
which was more community oriented, wasn't it?
Very much so. Yeah. And it has lost some of that really, but it's still, it is the biggest arts festival in the world. It's sensory overload. It really is. If you've never been before, it can be a bit daunting, but no, it's really we're really looking forward to it as always, and there'll be tons of videos, and you'll see us doing 4 or 5 videos a day really, and then me trying to edit them and get them up the next day, that sort of stuff. So then I need to lie down after a fortnight. But the only other thing we've done this week, wouldn't it? It would be nice. I would love to take somebody with me and stick them in a room and then get them to do the editing. That would be great, but that's not going to happen, I don't think. The only other thing I've done this week is I've been doing promotion for the Nerve Centre album, which is out next Friday, contacting mainly sort of newspapers and magazines, but there's not been, as usual with all this sort of stuff, there's very little response, although we are definitely going to get at least one review, which is that's a win as far as I'm concerned, because but that's taken quite a bit of time, but yeah, no, that's my fortnight really.
Excellent.
And I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, mate. Good to have you. We will pick your brains about Synth Fest, Gear Fest, or whatever it was called, a bit later, because there's probably a few questions that people want to ask about it. I kind of felt like there's a good, if you're in this part of the world and you're talking about fringe festivals, I feel like the best fringe festival in Australia is in Adelaide. So
yes, I've heard of Adelaide.
Yeah. It's actually, Melbourne's probably got the best comedy festival, but Adelaide's probably got the best arts all round, like everything. So the Fringe Festival, if you ever get down this part of the world, try and visit Adelaide in that time of the year when they have that on, and it's still quite community oriented. That one's pretty good.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
That'll be a good holiday one year actually for us to come over, because we do want to come over. Now we've got Australian relatives. Because my daughter-in-law's Australian, so
Adelaide's
want to come
a bit
over.
of a drive from Cairns though, but definitely. All right, who's next? We're going to do Andy, because it's nice and early in the morning for the big fella. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I literally just woke up right before you started and didn't know you already started. So bedhead in the works. So the usual fun. Not too crazy this week, although there's a bunch of stuff I have to get going. I'm way behind on this. I have a studio tour and a set to do for Clownfest coming up. I have a set to do for Hardware Jams Fest. I have a Hardware Jams thing to do for this weekend as well, if I have time. Got Henrik's thing at 8 p.m. UK time today for mobile gear. And speaking of mobile gear,
Senior Synth
I've been messing around with this stuff some more. Yeah. And I've been making drum kits with this.
Yeah, and moving.
So the nice thing about the Sonicware is you can cross-platform, cross-pollinate the goodies. And so I couldn't find an SD card around that was. It's funny. I actually wrote Sonicware support and said, I don't know how I missed it, but normally it's very clear in the specs or in your little tech section of the manual. What is the compatible SD card for this model? Because it doesn't say anywhere. And I went through a couple times. I don't know, maybe I did miss it. But he just replied back, maximum of 32 gig SDHC. So, no. So if anyone doesn't know that, that's what you can do. 32 gig SDHC is the max.
Yeah.
So
but it has been a bit weird with SD cards. So if you go back and watch some of the earlier videos, I think we did this sample track party video. We had some drummers with SD cards on it. I actually bought a brand new SD card just for the sample, 32 gig. It was a SanDisk one, which is supposed to be a relatively reputable brand for SD cards, and just didn't work.
Was it too fast for it? Because there are higher classes and stuff like that.
It was just a generic one. In fact, I've got the one that I've got in there now is only a 16 gig. Is actually quite a high class one.
Because there's SDHC, SDXC, there's all those different variants.
So that's the one I've got in there now. So it's quite a high quality one, but that one works fine. So it's I feel like it's got maybe it's a chipset thing, or maybe it's an algorithm.
That's why I want to verify with them before I waste time with a bunch of cards. Because the card I had in the sample check died for some reason. I don't know why. It was a used card. I had it for a while, a camera. So I needed a card so I could do this thing, because you can use a USB mode on this. You can just hook it up as a drive, and supposedly do it that without the card. But I haven't tried that yet. So I think I want to use the card so I can sneak it in back and forth. And make sure that works. And
I do the same. Like you've got like the little card reader in your computer, and just plug it in. Chuck the files on, chuck the files off.
Yeah, exactly.
It just makes it so much easier.
That's what I do all the time with my Machina Plus anyway. If I need to add contact libraries or samples directly or whatever, I just throw the damn card in the machine, dump it on there, and I'm good to go.
So I do that like just out of habit, and I do it also on the MPC, and I keep forgetting that the MPC has literally
has a disk
drive mounted.
So does Force. Force does. I use that with Force.
Because I keep doing it just out of habit, and I'm like, hang on, stop doing that, you idiot.
Make more work for yourself,
Why is there a password on the link? Is there a password on the link?
Bum, bum, bum.
On the Zoom link?
Yeah.
On that Zoom link. Maybe because it's using his account.
Let me just have a quick look. I'm just launching it now. Just let me straight in. I mean, obviously you've got a...
It'll be a password on his Zoom account, won't
Yeah,
it?
it might be a new Zoom
that's what I
account, mate,
thought.
that it's asking for. I'll leave that open anyway. Give that a whirl. Right. Okay. Let me just scroll down to make sure I'm in there. Okay, cool. Who else is left? Oh, we can't forget about Daren. How are you, bud?
How could you? How dare you?
How dare you? Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm fine. Thanks. Good day. What have I been up to? I've just been sat writing. When the studio's been cool enough to get in. Other than that, I haven't been doing anything. I've just been doing some special stuff for certain things. KBW 24. But other than that, no, I've not been in the studio as much as usual. But it's been just too warm in here. I can't cool the place down. It'll cool down over the next couple of days because the weather's going to dip. So the studio itself will just cool down, and then it'll be a bit more comfortable to sit and work more. So that's really basically what I've been doing this week. He's coming in.
What's
doing a little bit.
What's KBW 24 then, Darren?
That's his new...
Aha, you see, that's something that's just going to be... Yeah,
his new thing.
You'll
You're
find
not gonna
out.
let me know,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know Darren's little...
No.
It's
tricks.
Darren's version of Montcock.
KBW's
Yeah, well,
going to rock you.
Moncock has been moved.
I'm going to get a
So,
drink, guys.
we
You
won't
guys...
be able to see it.
You guys talk amongst yourself. I'm just going to get a drink. I'm fanging at the bit here.
It'll be something that'll come to light. It could be something to do with more live stuff that I'm doing. So, you won't see it as, I don't think you'll see it as like albums or tracks. You'll have to see it live. But
Ooh. Get yourself down to
yes.
Southwest.
I know it's hard. Well, the reason I've not played live at the moment is because of work. You see, because I have to be up so early in the morning, and it's travelling to these places and getting back the next day is just a bit hard. But as the summer draws to a close, it'll be easier for me to do it. So I'm getting a lot of stuff all prepped ready. Well, that's the plan. All prepped ready. You know what'll happen? It'll set it up and then it won't work. But I thought while I've got the time, rather than rushing out, I'm going to prep everything, get our sets ready. And I mean, I've got 2 sets now that are like 2 hours long. That's 4 hours. Some other stuff that I'm working on, some special stuff like KB that I'm working on, which is going to be another hour. So plenty of stuff there. And then, like I say, once it calms down after the summer, hopefully I'll be out about going to quite a lot of different places. Touch wood. That, and I had to get a new car a few months back because my car comes to the end of its day. So that took all my cash up. So that's why it's not been any sort of buying anything.
Yeah.
I say I took it up. I'm still paying for it for the rest of the year. But yeah, yeah, basically. But having said that, it was a thing in disguise, right? Because the car I had was literally 26, 27 years old, and it was too much for it to get. It was too much. It was going to cost me more to get it through its MOT and stuff before.
Yeah.
So it was.
There's that moment, isn't
it?
It
was time to do it.
You know,
yeah.
I've
But
had
it'll
that in the
help
past.
now because I'll be able to get to these places without having to worry about the car. You see.
See, I've always wondered, Darren,
before.
the economics of we all know the economics of owning a car is basically just like, it's a write-off. It's depreciative asset that you don't really make any money from.
Pretty much, yeah.
There's a few exceptions to the rule, of course, but most of us will buy a normal standard sort of car and it will just go down in value. There's got to be a point, I reckon, where you keep a car like you kept your car for 20-something years, right? So there's got to be a point where...
I didn't have it for 27 years personally. I had it for about 12.
Well, even
the car
even
age
12,
was
right?
27 years.
Our one of our cars is about 15 years we've had it for, and
it soon flies when you've got it.
Well, that's the thing. I'm looking at it right now thinking I don't have any need to get rid of it because it's still It's got all the mod things in it. You can Bluetooth it. You can reversing camera it. It's got everything in it.
I think I've just realised our car is 5 years old. We bought it new. It's the only time we've ever bought a brand new car. So we've had it. So that's not a new car anymore, is it? 5 years.
I tend to do what you do, Darren. I tend to hold on to them.
Let's say, you buy a second-hand car, let's say 3 years, and you pay for it over, I don't know, say 4 or 5 years, maybe, depending on the car. You might pay for less. But before you know it, you've got to 10 years, and you sort of basically finish paying for it, and the car's 10-year-old. Yeah. And then it's like, So, yeah. But
I kind of feel
so
like
much wrong with it. I mean, the fuel tank,
I feel like the benefit, Darren, is when
going.
The benefit or the economic benefit is when you own it, and that point onwards becomes
I mean,
it depends on how much blood you gave to own it, but you're no longer owing someone else money, right, for your car.
Yeah, the last car that I bought was it was about £1,200 when I bought it, and it was basically it was in decent nick. It only had 23 on the clock, 23,000. I modified it like I always have to do, but basically it didn't cost me anything if you look at it that way. Forget the modifications, but if you look at it that way, £1,300 over 10, 12 years.
Yeah, that's good. Can I just answer James's question? Because he's asked me a question about the Model 24. He's got a Model 12, right, and he's looking to upgrade. Check out the Tascam 2400, which is the new version of this, but has proper capabilities to actually connect to a digital audio workstation and be able to multi-track to a
the multi-track one. Yep.
This doesn't do that. I mean, in fact, I never use it. I've tried it once connected to a computer. It's crap. But check out the new version of that, because it's fundamentally the same, apart from it's got that capability.
Yeah, I think yours only does a stereo master voice, doesn't it?
It's a stereo master, and it's not very good.
Yeah.
No.
Which is kind of like a Behringer sort of style.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Thing. Yeah. I've heard a lot of people say good things about the 2400 Tascam. Yep, absolutely. And if you own an Akai MPC or an Akai Force, you can actually map all of those audio channels into tracks. So it's brilliant that way. So diverse, because it's class compliant USB audio.
Yeah.
If you buy a mixer that requires special drivers, hello Presonus. Hello, Roland.
We're looking at you.
Everyone needs special drivers for MIDI. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's just really stupid. Like they just want you to work in their little microcosm of useless ecosystem. Yeah. I think we need to talk to Chatties. Hello. Well, refresh. There we go. I've been saying hello to you guys, sort of, momentarily. But big hello to, in reverse order, Matt Brown, Chris Bartley, who said he's from Chicago, Paul Holmes, Andy Synchrotron, James, and then, a special mention, obviously, you see these people with the little Synth Geekery icon next to their name. They are channel members. And a big shout out to those guys for supporting the channel. People like to Sophie Music and Chris and David and Kent. And many, many more. Stephen Smith, I think, was here earlier, but I think he might have gone to bed now, unless I've just woken him up. And Robert Fat Dust Hex as well, one of our newer ones. Big welcome to you guys. But never, ever least or last or anything is a gentleman by the name of Brooksy. Nice to have you, mate, in chat. Brooksy, as you guys know, does frequent the show and used to be quite a regular member before. We've got Bert with ASIO Head and Half God, Half Beast, and we've got a whole bunch of others like Robbie Puricelli there with Failed Muso. And I've mentioned some of you guys before. We did the earlier part of the show. So yes, there they all are in their glory. So big thank you to all of them, and we'll play this little video.
So,
I don't think
I've back to starting 15 minutes before. Is that what happened?
25-ish minutes before.
25. Oh, okay.
Yeah. We were just playing a bit. I was bored. I was sitting here twiddling my thumbs. We're gonna just. I don't think I've updated this from last week. So if anyone's joined I do apologise, but this is just a quick list. A big thank you to the Patreons, and also to the channel members. I think there might have been 1 or 2 new people who have joined. So don't kill me. I do have to manually update this. I think to Sophie Music's not on there, and a couple of others. So I do apologise. It's not there yet. Don't worry. Next week it'll be there. I'll get onto it. Right. We should get stuck into the show and do our regular segment, starting with this one. Yes. I do have someone waiting in had to start on that one, didn't it? I do have someone waiting in Discord. Not Discord.
You got like a fart joke, come here, really.
Yeah. Just give me a sec. I'm just going to get this guy in. We've got audio happening. And you can share. Actually, this new guy that's in Zoom right now, we're going to pop him up on the top right-hand corner. Hey, there he is. Look at that. Can't get your audio, though.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, it's very quiet. Very quiet audio. Turn it up a bit for us.
Okay.
I can still hear you, but it's just very quiet.
One second.
It might be your computer that we're hearing. Yeah, I think he's trying again. Anyway, while we're waiting for him to sort that out, I found this vinyl. Yeah, no, I didn't really. Anyway,
just slipped out, did it?
Guys, it's a type of noise oscillator. You know, what do you want? Next.
Yes.
Yes.
That's definitely true.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, that hits home. That does.
I'm going to say I'm going to refuse to do that. Testing's good.
Yes. No comment would.
We can hear you.
Might be the better.
But your camera's all sort of paused.
Sorry, I'm hooking up this other mic. I gotta hook up my preamp.
Okay. Keep
Just
going,
give me a
bud.
sec.
No worries. No worries. Shout out when you're ready. Right. Dudes be like, I'm in the studio.
I remember that picture, yeah.
I've seen that before, I
the
think.
rounds.
That does the rounds.
Yeah, that's definitely my studio.
Yeah, it does look a bit like Ian's little sort of
the Thomas the Tank keyboard,
cabinet
right?
of curiosities.
Yeah, the toy guitar's up there, and the Thomas the Tank's in the corner over there.
The egg crates are a nice touch.
Yeah, they are actually. Yeah.
A lot of these have been.
We used to use them.
A lot of these have been circling on Discord, and you know, so you probably would have seen these have been on Discord this week. But there's some here that's not, so just hang in there if you've seen all these. Tax refund? You mean synthesizer expansion budget?
Yeah.
Yes. That time of the year, people.
1 million synthesizers.
So is severance pay.
Yeah, I don't know what countries follow the same tax years as we do, but we're July to June. I know some countries are January to December for their tax years.
No, we're April.
Testing.
Yeah. Yep, I can hear, bud. I'll just pop you in the corner again. Hey, there you go. And then he's paused again. Okay, fair enough.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's back. The wonders of Zoom. He's moving again.
It's a bit choppy.
Microsoft. Okay. Yes, we had to do this in the show, didn't we?
Yeah.
Topical stuff.
Yeah. I mean, this was kind of me during the week when they had this. Was it Friday? I think it was Friday here for us, right? Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
From about 1 o'clock onwards, I think it was here when it hit us. And, you know, I've got this whole computer here that's running the show is Microsoft, and then I've got my Mac sitting over here. And it didn't actually affect me at all.
Well, CrowdStrike lost almost $40 on their stock that day. So
I'm not surprised.
Right, I'm not surprised. Are you?
Yeah, I mean the CEO
bounce back.
There's an interesting fact about this company. The CEO.
Sorry, I lost my sound. So I need one more moment.
Yeah.
I lost my sound on the client.
Go for it, bud. So what was I saying? So the CEO, I believe, was one of was he the ex-CEO of McAfee's or
yes, he was an employee or something.
An employee, yeah. Or is this a bad, vicious rumor on social media? Not sure.
That's what I read on the ABC. Which
Yeah.
is generally pretty accurate.
Well, we use them at my last couple companies. They're actually really, really high end for endpoint protection. They're like the best on the market. Their heuristics model is really good. So I mean, they're a great company, but if they don't keep up with their stuff,
Testing.
that's
It's
pretty
kind of
that's pretty
basic
bad.
stuff. Yeah.
So-
Yeah,
We can hear you, bud.
Basic
Yeah.
deployment 101.
Your video is still paused, but we can hear you.
Testing. I think.
I think your audio is good.
Yep.
Just your
I mean, it's
video
not as
now.
bad as Encom, where the people give it away for free if you saw Tron Legacy. So
Yeah. All right. We'll just keep him up there. Now, this one, I kind of, I like this one. Les Paul.
Yes, I do.
Paul.
Yes.
Because I used to always,
And
when
I
I was a
chuckled.
kid, I used to always wonder what that switch was for in the guitar.
Oh,
And it's basically a little sort of tone switch, isn't it?
oh man, more Paul.
Yeah. Yeah, Andy just gets it.
I just looked. I was looking elsewhere. So
Oh,
all right. yeah.
excuses, Andy. Excuses.
That was the sound of the penny dropping, was it?
actually, I was thinking Logan Paul. If you want to really get sick.
Oh my God! Don't. My
yes.
son watches that guy. I can't stand him.
Yes.
Yeah. What else we got? We got Behringer's new Maze synthesizer coming out soon.
They didn't even try. They didn't even change the colour, though. That would,
No,
I
exactly.
thought it was
they
a bit
tried.
lazy.
They
Did they?
tried.
Mm.
Yeah, they used comic font for the logo. I mean, I thought that was,
Oh, wow.
that was
That's
a great
that's
effort.
serious
Yeah.
effort, yeah.
And then I'll just take Shepard off here. Bikers who want to take up the piano, and pianists who want to take up biking. And I mean, obviously, you guys watch Breaking Bad. You know who these guys are. Yeah, we can hear you, mate. And there's Yamaha in the middle. I thought this was good.
I'm Heisenberger.
Yes, very good. And that is it. There was a lot this week, wasn't there? Sure, I can try and refresh your
I
memories.
forgot them all.
Yeah, I'll try and refresh
It's
your
like,
memories.
it's like that every week for me, mate.
We're not getting any younger. Come on, man.
We've got Farting Alone. We've got Dad, When I Grow Up, I Want to Be a Musician. We've got Dudes Be Like I'm in the Studio with Ian's Toys. Tax Refund, the Microsoft one, the Les Paul one, the Moog Behringer Maze, and we've got this one that's on your screen now, the Breaking Bad one. Let us know, people, what you want. Let us know in chat.
I'll take the prurient. I'll go with farting. So
I'm going to go with farting alone as well.
Yeah. Just a quick...
Closely
hold on.
followed by my toys.
I'm actually going the Dad.
the Dad. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, this is all over the shop.
Yeah, I've got Dad as well.
Grow Up, and Paul. You can only choose one, Bert. You know the rules. Dad and Son. Number 2. Okay, number 2. Chris needs to do a number 2, everyone.
Ba-boom.
Number 2 is Dad.
farting one, so.
Okay. It wasn't the farting one. It was the, yeah. I mean, that comes after the... He's actually correct.
That's what I mean. It's number 2. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's actually correct. Okay, so I'm thinking that Dad, When I Grow Up, is probably getting it. Based on the chat.
Yeah.
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 So let's do that, which is...
Well, that's annoying.
It is, mate. It is, because here you are on the screen, all frozen
Yeah.
and everything. And we'd love to see you. So maybe disconnect and reconnect. I would give you license to do that, bud. So don't worry about that.
Okay.
Here he looks more like See You See Me, where it's black and white and choppy. So
It does look
Here,
black and
use
white,
that.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure what's going on there.
Looks highly stylized.
But love to know what the keyboard
Somebody's
is.
got a
in
filter
front of you.
on.
Anyway,
Yes.
that was good. So we get...
SM57.
I think we'll hit the news while we're waiting for this gentleman to get himself involved. We will hit the news button. Well, obviously, we have to talk about this because, I don't know. Do you guys want to watch a bit of the video?
Why not?
Reload.
They were pretty excited about it, I guess, weren't they? You know, so
And all of that.
Now, I kind of feel like that's a good little spot to pause it and go back to us, because I feel like that product there is going to rock and roll in quite a lot of other people's studio. And because I feel like that market is definitely a bunch of people, and then the keyboard market is definitely a different bunch of people. And in some cases, you might be a keyboard person, but you just don't have really the inkling to want to buy that as a keyboard. You might just think it's not good enough to buy as a keyboard. I just want to have it as a sound module. And there you are. And for $850, I think it is. You can get the...
Are you talking US dollars? Because I thought it was 700.
It is US,
Yeah,
849 US, I believe.
Ranzee, just be honest, you're a secret Behringer bro. So
I am. Just kill me now. Anyway, look, 16 voice analog synth that sounds Oberheim-ish. We're not going to say it's like an exact copy of an Oberheim or anything like that.
Yeah, Dr. Synth said his keyboard version is not that close, to be honest. So.
Yeah. But, you know, for someone, this might be, you know, a really cool sort of...
It's fun, but it's not, you know, not a replica or anything.
Like a massive unison type synth or a massive pad machine or, you know, brassy machine or something. I don't know. I think it's a pretty decent price, $850 US. So I'm just not sure if I will get one. I'm just not. I think I'm still kind of traveling around my Pro 800 still, right?
Yeah, another thing that needs effects, but
yeah, I mean, yeah,
it's external effects.
It's not for me. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of the Pro 800, those of you guys who have taken your stuff apart like that, they don't have any secret mod points in there and stuff, do they? They're not into that kind of stuff.
There's definitely test parts on the circuit board, but they would be, you know, to do with...
there are plenty of trimmers, but they're all pretty, a bit like my Cobalt. They're pretty standard trimmer things. Yeah, very similar to the original.
Trimmers. Yep.
Yeah.
So that'd be nice if they encourage that, because you know Korg did that on a couple things like the MS-20 Mini and stuff. So.
Yeah, you like you've got the jeweler style, you know, screwdrivers on those trimmers. You know, they it's real.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's so much surface mount in that Pro 800. It's not, you know, not really repatchable. Other than, you know, what we used to do with Volkers, which was, you know, the patch points were wherever the potentiometer's hooked up.
Well, the other thing you used to do with Volkers.
Well, let's not go there. I've already done that too much this week, haven't I?
Right. Scatological stuff, yeah.
I've got bad form at the moment, so.
The tube of KY nearby. Anyway, so this thing... I honestly think there's going to be a lot of people that will get this, and it won't be me yet. Maybe in the future. I don't know if the price comes down a little bit. Maybe.
Well, the price probably will come down a bit, won't it? Because they always do.
Well, for me, it needs to be sub 1,000 Australian for me to be interested in this, and I don't think it will be for a while.
Ooh, yeah, that's tough.
Yep.
That's a hard call. You know.
Yep.
That's very hopeful.
This is probably around the $1,300 Australian mark.
You could. What about a not a seconds, but a whatever it is, the one that Store DJ do is the one where they have the ones in the store and they just sell you the one that they've had in the store for months.
Oh, it's just
open box. Yeah. Open box, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Get one for that. They don't.
They usually only take about $50.
Yeah, it's piss poor as far as I'm concerned.
Hey, Ranzee, what about stuff like the Nina, which is local? Do you get a better deal and stuff like that? Since
no,
it's local, or
and
not really?
you'd think an Australian synth manufacturer would contact an Australian synth YouTuber. I never heard anything from that company. It's bizarre, right? They just all they're doing is they're pissing in the pockets of all the big YouTube reviewers, and I don't know.
They seemed a little
numbers game now.
Little nose in the air at NAMM, so
hell yeah. And to be fair, I wasn't sexy. I didn't find it sexy at all, that synth. I found it a bit gimmicky. If anything, like sometimes you've got to look past specs and features and go with what your ears hear. And I feel like, if you guys are watching and you're new to synths, right, this is probably the most important thing you can ever do. Don't get wrapped up in the hype. Just put the headphones on and listen to it. And if that is what gets you excited, right? And
Manny was digging it, so
listen to all you guys talking at once. All right, who will go with first?
I think we agree. I think that means we agree.
Yeah. All right. Next one I think we can talk about is before we jump onto that, who in chat is going to go and rush out and buy the Behringer UBXa D? Oh, I've got people who have jumped into Zoom.
Oh,
it's really hard for me to concentrate on Zoom when I'm.
We said it before, Rant. You need assistance.
Okay. So Chris is back, and the other guy's back, and the audio is working. Let me get these guys up. We'll just look at the chat scroll by for a sec. Actually, no, we were to ask for a sec.
Watching the chat.
What I'm going to do, guys, with you guys in Zoom is I'm going to open up a new input, and I'm going to add you guys in, and we'll do the 9 up like we've done before in the past.
Oh, the 9 up.
The 9 up.
Getting fancy.
Who likes a bit of 9 up?
Fancy.
Hey?
I'd prefer 9 pin.
It's 2 better than 7 up.
Where are you going with that, Daren?
I've not said anything.
Oh, no, that's why I asked.
You could see his mind. Just like, ooh, take that back, your thought.
Daren's like holding the door closed with his foot so Rave Dave doesn't rush in and say something really embarrassing.
He'll burst through that. Everything will go purple.
Okay, give me a sec, guys. It's almost there. We've got one more to put in. And then we can go.
Makes a good point there.
Look at that! They're all the Zoomers are here. Oh, hang on, I've stuffed something up. Hang on, wait. I've got Chris in twice. Wait a sec.
Yeah.
That better?
There you go.
And then Chatties. Shall we put the Chatties in? There you go.
Yeah. Lovely.
Hey guys, look, you joined us.
Hello.
Hi, Chris.
Another Chris.
Hello, is your audio working, bud? No, we can't hear you.
I think my audio is working.
Your audio is working, yes. Yours is, and your camera's working.
Yeah.
But Chris, yours is not. And I promise you it's not my end.
He has the classic Zoom face when you realize it doesn't work as advertised. Goddamn audio.
There should be
click on the little
expression.
little settings thing. Go into audio. Make sure it's the one that is giving you it'll give you a little bar graph display as you're talking into it. You can actually see it actually picking up your voice. Just make sure you've got that one selected.
Do the old testing.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Or tap it on the.
Check 1. Check 1.
Tap it on there like that.
Check 1.
Take your time, mate. Don't worry. Don't stress. If it doesn't work, don't get peed off. We can.
So how's everyone doing?
Yeah, we're good, man. We're good.
Hey, man. Good.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, nice to have you on.
Nice. Thank you.
What do you want us to call you? Because you were in chat as.
Just call me Grip.
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 Okay.
Yeah, Grip is fine.
No worries. And what's in front of you there? Is it a MIDI controller or is it actual synth or?
Oh, this is a D50. So
nice.
I just got this from Japan, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like really, really super good condition. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. And I got it hooked up to E7. I don't know if my cam will malfunction if I move it.
Oh, it's good for the cam move.
I just got this.
Why don't we do this?
Oh, is that the...
Oh, that thing, yes.
This is the E7.
Yeah. I remember that.
So I just got this 2 weeks ago.
Cool.
And I love it.
Yeah, and
really pleased with it.
So are you sort of getting in heavily to the D50 editing stuff? Are you doing, the partials and
No.
all that sort of stuff?
I actually bought it as a collector. Just because it's in good condition, I just bought it as like a collector for a MIDI controller. It probably won't be like my main MIDI controller because I'm getting into like more microtonal concepts. So I think I'm gonna get that. And this E7 seems pretty sweet, so I kind of want to explore it more, right?
Yeah. All right, Chris has just disappeared.
But super pleased, like 40-year-old instrument, and it's like mint condition. I'm blown away.
Awesome.
So if you like microtonal, have you checked out Lumitone? That thing's really cool. It's just expensive.
Yeah, I've seen a few things on the Lumitone.
It's got MPE.
Really
it's really fun, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking at a few. Like what ones would you say are like the best build quality?
Oh, microtonal. I'm only dabbling in it a little bit. Like I have an old Axis 49 controller, which you can use for microtonal or just use for normal control. Because they used to make a box and you could just turn anything microtonal, but they stopped making that. So there is some software they have that's, if you look at the company that makes not Axis, not See-Through Music, they kind of went defunct, but the company that made the HPi was the fancy classic one. It looks like a bunch of Lego bricks in different colors stacked like this, and it was a fully weird microtonal keyboard. Look up HPi Instruments. They have software you can use to make things microtonal.
All right, cool.
Just wanted to check, Chris, your audio, is that working now? No.
What did you just say that brand was?
HPi, so H and then the word pi for the Greek letter. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. Kent.
Hello.
Hey, Kent.
It's Lily's dad.
Here we go.
Hey.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Say hello, Lily.
Oh, look at that.
It's all better, Kent.
Lot fatter
So
now.
cute.
Lot fatter. Aren't you?
Cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's my nose. Yeah,
Chris,
so
are you-
she's all a lot better now.
Chris, are you using the browser or the actual Zoom app? Because if you're using the Zoom app, you might find it's worth downloading and getting that. It's free. You don't have to worry about anything like
The
that.
app tends
But
to work better, yeah.
you'll get more control over your
You
settings.
turn the camera and mic on at the top.
He
You got the
He's
camera
frustrated.
and mic enabled at the top
we
of the screen.
feel you, mate. We
Yeah.
feel you. We've all been here. Don't worry. Once you work out, you'll be like, yes, I've conquered this beast.
And then there's an operating system update or something.
All right, well,
Oh, yeah, it's always, isn't it? Every time you switch it on, there's a new update.
guys, hang around.
You get your foot at me, coffee.
We'll keep going with the news, okay? So because we've got to get through a few things. I hope you guys can stick around while we're doing that because it's actually a pretty cool part of the show. So we talked about that. Now I want to talk about this. This has been like probably one of the slowest release synthesizers known to mankind. It probably should win an award for it, to be fair.
Slow things.
Well, shall we call this the Neutron 2? I mean, that's really what it is, isn't it, guys?
I think it's
Yeah.
fair call.
No, it's the Proton.
Yes, we know that, Daren.
Well, that's what it's called. We'll call it the Proton.
All right, you
As
can
he
call it
said.
the Proton. Well, Behringer seemed to call it the Proton anyway. They haven't mentioned anything about 3340 oscillators in this, whereas the Neutron had... It was a big mention, 3340 oscillators, blah, blah, blah. This one is just VCOs. It's an analog synth. And obviously, the other thing about this is that it's got double the filters, double the LFOs, quite a lot more control with the LFOs as well, which if anyone who owns a Neutron, I own a Neutron, that's kind of one of the areas that kind of frustrates you a bit with the LFOs is there's a couple of things that doesn't quite do that you'd like it to. and there's two VCAs. There's two envelopes like the Neutron has, but there's also two AR envelopes as well, which is pretty cool. So I think, it's 300 and something bucks. What did I say it was? $399. So $399 is what the MSRP is. It will probably be a little bit cheaper than that. Do you guys want to watch a little bit of sound demo?
So you get what you pay for.
I'd like to.
Well, the Neutron's built really well, so I kind of...
Neutron's cool.
I'd be okay with the build on this. Let's have a quick look at this. These guys have visited the Ranzee School of Video Editing. That is for sure. For cheese, anyway. Anyway, what do you guys think of the Proton? I'll go to my Uber 9-up display. Hey. Who wants to talk about it?
Can you hear me now?
It's about time it came out, I guess.
Chris, I can hear you.
Hey.
All right, here I am.
Yay, look, you conquered it, mate. Well done.
Yay.
Yep.
Well done.
So, how's it going, guys? Nice to meet everybody here. Stumbled across this morning when I was just my normal synth stuff out on YouTube. So, nice to meet everybody.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
And
Nice to meet you, Chris.
Populating all over the world.
Yeah.
I can see some. So you're the guy with the Moog 1. I'm pretty sure that's what I can see in the background there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You should
Good
be able
stuff.
to see it now. Oh, wrong way.
The other way.
So,
Got some
There it is.
serious amount of Nord action there. by the looks.
Oberheim.
Nord
Yeah, a
Electro.
couple more. Let's see. There's a Hammond, and then there's a pile of racks. There's
nice.
Iridium, OB,
Nice.
or I'm sorry, yeah. There's an OB6. I can't see a peak. A P5, and then in the boat in the back there's a P10, a Chroma Polaris 2,
Wow.
a Matriarch. So I kind of, but I want to no more hardware since I'm going to start going to modular now. So
Watch out.
Convert.
yeah.
Oh, no, it's going
Chris,
down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So,
I
Chris,
was a little nervous
just
to go down.
Don't look there. Just don't look. Don't look,
Yeah,
mate.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of. Yeah, when when I was stupid enough to buy a Moog 1, right? Can you imagine what's going to happen if it's going to go modular? So,
Well, the Moog 1 can you can sell that,
yeah. Well, actually, I love it too much. I always,
Yeah, no, fair
I
enough.
was like, wow, it was expensive. I put it on, and I'm just like, yeah, it is a pretty fun synth. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Behringer will make a version or something. A Behringer 2 or something. Maybe we'll see what they come up with. But yeah, so I've been more of a keyboard guy. I play in a lot of more like, especially Chicago, obviously a lot of blues, jazz kind of band and stuff like that. Not your typical synth stuff. But I'm always looking for other synth nerds in Chicagoland to jam with and hang out with as well. So because I'm definitely into the electronic stuff.
Did you go to NobCon?
I am going to go to NobCon because it's literally like
It's right there.
walking distance from my house.
Wow. Yeah.
But I will stop by there. So some of the people who are going to do performing, I may be bringing some gear up for them to use, so they don't have to haul it all across the country. So waiting to hear about that.
What's that? Is it the Synth Museum that's in Chicago? There's some little sort of upstairs synth museum thing there. I remember a YouTuber showing us it once. Maybe it's not there anymore.
That I'm aware of. I hope if I am, I should.
It was kind of like a library. You could go in, you could browse around, play with stuff, and if you wanted to, you could borrow it as a library.
You heard about that?
Yeah, it was definitely in Chicago, and I'm just not sure if it's still there. I haven't seen it for a while.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't heard of it. I will look it up and see if there is something there.
Yeah.
There was a couple. We had a couple like more boutique synth stores that actually sold modules and things like that for eurorack and what have you. But they've gone kind of. I don't think they're around anymore.
Yeah, they got hit by COVID. Pandemic. Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
So, but. Yeah, and then I'm also a pedal junkie. Behind me, you see a bunch of things stacked up in the corner there. Behind there's a rack, big rack full of pedals. So I love fiddling with things with knobs.
Yeah, awesome. Good man. Good man.
Yeah. That's what
do you have a favorite, or is it too hard? Anything
for keyboards?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna be my Hammond. That's kind of what I started with. I grew up on playing organ, so yeah, that's what my go-to is. But like for gigging, I just
are you good with the feet as well? You can play the feet.
Yep. Yeah,
that's the hardest part, right?
Yeah, it's the hardest part. I never really got to lift.
Well, you know, I'm not at the level. I'm not at the level of some folks that have really good footwork. I got basic footwork though. Good enough for like jazz and things like that, but
he's not a tap dancer.
Not like classical level.
Yeah. Well, pipe organ is amazing footwork, right? So,
yeah.
By the way, Chris, just start small with something like this. Don't go crazy with the modular. Get a small thing first. So
that's what I'm thinking is like an IntelliJet or something like that.
IntelliJet, yeah, or a Nifty case.
Something, yeah. This one you can't buy anymore. This is the Radiophonic from Suit and Tie Guy, but.
Oh right, yeah.
Does he still go to? Does he still go to NobCon? Synth Tie Guy? Pretty sure he does.
Runs it.
Yeah, he's got a new. Yeah, and he's got a new synth that just came out, so I wanted to check that out as well. Right. So instead of making modules, he was going to do like a kind of like the Moog style, kind of all in one little eurorack format thing.
He's doing exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, he's a really nice guy.
He's cool.
But it'll be interesting to see what's going to be at the NobCon this year. So always leave my credit card at home.
It's just too far from
it
there.
Or you just give you your wallet to them. Here, have it.
Yeah.
Empty it out.
When it stops returning money, you know it's finished.
Like was it 2 years ago? I found these guys. I don't know if you guys are fans of this stuff here. The good old MRC.
Oh yeah, I know the MRC. I know the conductive lab guys. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I use the noodler.
So that was like one of my big. Yeah, I have a noodler as well. So I like to walk out of there with a noodler, an MRCC, and an expansion. And it runs over. I have expansion goes over to the rack over there of tabletops.
You've probably even watched my video, Chris, on the MRCC.
I probably have. I think that's maybe why your channel showed up this morning, because I have checked that out. So, I was looking for some programming tips on the USB because wasn't set up right on it. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I love that thing. That is the best piece of MIDI gear I think ever made.
Oh, it's really good, isn't it? Yeah, I think my screen's on its way out though. So. I mean, I've had mine since first released. I've had mine for ages, since it was first released. So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
Like it's starting to
So mine.
What is it? What do you call it when it shows the same characters?
Oh, burn-in.
Burn-in.
Oh,
that's it. Yeah,
or something.
Yeah,
burned in. Yeah.
All right, we're going to head back to news because we were talking about this, right? And I kind of wanted to get your opinions about it. So that was just to refresh your memories, but I'll go back to the 9-Up. And try not to stare at Kent. He's told everyone that he's gone back to work, but we'll just leave him there.
Don't make the work.
It's a moment in time.
Embarrassing photo. Sometimes you get like some weird like stuck frame, you know.
Yeah.
For guys on Zoom, you'll know that he's actually gone off. He's disappeared off Zoom now, but I'll just leave him there. If he wants to come back in, he can come back in. You'll go blind. All right. Behringer Proton. Who's a yes, who's a maybe, and who's a no?
I think price is all right. It's not for me.
Yes,
Really?
for the price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Maybe. So maybe I wouldn't get the Neutron now.
Yeah.
No, this has come along.
Yep.
It's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. As you said, Neutron Mark II as far as I'm concerned.
That's kind of what I was saying at the start, Chris. I kind of felt like they've literally redundified their own product by bringing this out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
really know
kinda
why
what I
they've done
thought.
that. Yeah.
It's interesting. Maybe that's why they took so long. Because
Could be.
umming and ahhing is whether it was, how long we wait, how long we wait. Let's wait a little bit longer.
Yeah. Unless, of course,
You said it was under
$200,
$200, right?
$399, I believe, is the
It's interesting
MSRP.
that-
$399.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good enough
Here
there
in the
then.
UK, here in the UK, it's $319, and nobody's. Well, Andersons haven't got it, but they reckon they're going to get more stock in the next 3 months. So I don't think it's anywhere.
Yeah, I don't even think Thomann have got it in, which is the main Behringer,
Yeah.
place. Let me just double check.
So although it's out, it's not out.
Well, at least it's not out like the Korg stuff was when they announced the Wave State in March.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've just been able to get it now.
It's not even available at Thomann either. And I mean, Thomann are basically Behringer's first stop usually for things.
They are definitely.
Yeah. Now, speaking of that, they did announce over the last week or two that they were thinking about doing customer direct sales.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from Ian, and Ian, you're probably not so much this anymore anyway, but
No, I'm not. But
I don't really feel this really affects any of us in the music business, form. So it'll probably benefit the end user, I feel, and the only thing that maybe it'll disappoint the distributors. Maybe.
The only problem you have with direct to customer is returns and repairs.
Yeah.
Whereas if you buy it from your local music shop, you could literally walk back in with it and they would sort it out, and it would still probably go back to distributor or manufacturer, but your local dealer would do that for you. No, you're going to have to do that yourself now. Now, whether Behringer, I mean, obviously our experience was as a retailer. It's very rare, but I mean, if we had a Korg item, I think in the 10 years that was it 10 years that we had it? That wasn't 10 years, was it? But we say how many years it was that we had Pockets of Music. We probably had 2 or 3 Korg synths go wrong in that time, and we sold quite a few. Which I mean, so it's good failure rate really. Korg would pay for the shipping back to them from the dealer, and then they'd ship it back to us again. So we were never out of pocket on that. We would check it, make sure that the customer's fault was correct. And even if that meant soak testing and all that sort of stuff, we'd do all that before. Then we talk to service department, and they would take it from there. Now the problem is that you're going to have that same sort of situation with the customer because there's nobody else to check it.
Yeah, that's. I remember when I took my first Pro 800 back to the local music store here. They made sure they took a video of the fault.
Yeah.
And actually checked it there in front of me before they said, "We need to send this to Behringer." So obviously on their end, I think they need that. So you're probably right.
Yeah,
the customer's going to have
definitely.
to do something equivalent.
Yeah.
I've had first-hand experience with dealing with Behringer direct as an RA, like we call it, return authority. And I bought this module from them, which is their early adopted version of the System 100 VCO. And you can tell it's a new one because the circuit board on the back is not green. So this is like probably Rev B. So I think you've got Rev C now. And so they literally just said, look, just hang on to it. We'll send you. I mean, these things are so cheap, right? They just sent me a new one. And it still works. The only problem is it just went out of tune. And so I use this as an Uber modulation, device because it's 2 oscillators, right? Yeah, high frequency modulator.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
bit of ring mod.
Yep. But that I feel like we're all pretty okay with dealing with the international business. We've all bought Amazon, right? We've all bought. I mean, have you guys ever had to return stuff to Amazon before? I mean,
well, Amazon's easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Prometheus makes a good point about duty and taxes if it's outside of your country, because that, I mean, returns need to be within the country, so they need to be either UK or US or Australia or wherever. You don't want to start having to get into the business of actually dealing with an export, because I can tell you that because we do export still occasionally, and that is a whole world of pain, really, is to export stuff.
Yeah, they probably
duties are a mess. Duties are a big mess. Like the way that they make you do it up front, like before everything is confirmed, is kind of an issue, right? Like they make you pay before you can even check the item.
Right.
That doesn't seem right. I have a big issue with the duties on ordering stuff, right? Because a lot of the stuff I'm buying is from Japan, and they charge big money. And if there's any issue and you got to send it back, then they have to repay the duty over there, and I have to fight to get mine back. So,
yeah,
I think it's an antiquated system that the governments have licked their lips about because they know that it's a way for them to make money. They need to update the system. I think that's probably where it's coming.
And it certainly got worse for us in the UK after Brexit, just in with the EU. I mean, it's easier for me to ship to Australia or America than it is to ship to Paris or France.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Bonkers.
Yeah. Well, that was, I mean, Ian, that was why I was buying stuff
definitely
from
needs to be updated.
The UK, because it was so easy to buy stuff from the UK.
Yeah, yeah.
It would be here in 24 hours. I'd have it on my front door in 24 hours. It was crazy. It's like a 26-hour flight.
Yeah.
I'd get it quicker than you could actually catch a flight. Yeah.
only
No,
taken
I'm with
2
you, man,
weeks
because I bought something from the US a couple of years ago with the duty stuff, right? And I knew the guy that made it. He was like a boutique developer, and the thing cost me about I think it was around $2,000 US. And I said to him, why can't you just split the invoice into two for me? Part A and Part B. And then I won't have to pay duty, because in Australia, if we import something that's under 1,000, we don't pay. We pay some taxes,
GST, but not duty.
Yeah, but we don't pay duty. And if we're paying GST, it's like a VAT in the UK, right? If we're paying that, we're paying like double the tax. We're paying a tax on something, and we're paying a duty, which is another tax, right?
Which is crazy.
And he wouldn't budge, and it ended up costing me something like $300. Literally, I'm just handing the government, here's $300, just for this thing to fly by their office. It's crazy, isn't it? Right? It's just it's almost robbery.
Definitely.
Well, like, I see the point. There's obviously a good value to it, but it does need to be updated in how they approach it, I think. Like, obviously there needs to be value, right? Because you got to make sure that your industries can survive for some things, right? For this type of industry, I don't think it needs to be required because it's so specialized. Like if your country's not making good enough stuff, they shouldn't get a pass.
Yeah, that's probably too hard for them to continually update.
Governments
Hey,
hate
Ranzee, is my audio working?
complexity.
Yeah, your audio's working, bud.
Is it? Oh, okay. The light's off, so
I
weird.
was going to say
They can
governments
just work
hate
with the
complexity.
shipping companies, though. Just
It's a
like
Microsoft bug,
like
mate.
all the shipping companies are working with each other, right? So the government could just join in.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I'm not against paying tax, right? Because we walk out our front doors, and there's services that our governments provide us. So, I understand there's a benefit to the social. There's a social greater need, and our taxes go to that. But I kind of feel that some of these are, a little, well, let's call it
Grey
revenue
areas.
raising to a degree, right? There's it's a bit like,
Oh yeah, it is.
yeah. Anyway,
Especially on speculative markets, right? Because this is such a speculative market. Prices can rise, like, just because someone paid that value doesn't mean that that's like the value of the item that was bought, right? So it really hurts the market. Like okay, this went up so much in value, but if I sell it, the duty is now increasing like the price so much, and it adds on to the cost for the end person, because then the collector won't sell it as much because they had to go through more trouble to get it in, right? So like all that accumulates every time there's a new buyer. There's like risk in the shipping, and that accumulates the value. So that's why these Jupiter 8s are worth 30 grand, right? Because like it's such a risk to like move it. It's such an expense to get it through systems, right? So like all that does get tacked onto the value. So it's not lost, right? So
I feel like we should probably have a rule that says, like, if it's brand new, then pay the duty. But if it's used, if it's secondhand or used, I don't think it deserves to have a duty on it, because it's already been through the tax system once.
That's right.
You know, doesn't matter what country it's been
there should
through.
Be a two-tier. There should be a two-tier system.
Yeah. Like your D50, right? You paid duty on that to get it into from Japan. I don't think that's right, because it's a used product. You know, you can't really can't walk through the airport with you wearing it. Like it's kind of bad, isn't it, in that sense?
Well, you pay taxes.
Yeah, and it also
items,
puts
so
on an extra strain for me, because if there's a problem with it, then how do I approach the problem, like by sending it back? You know, it puts me in a weird spot where I have to choose to either eat the cost and keep it, or eat the cost. Like there's no way of getting away with eating some cost, right? So
you're paying twice for something. The only way you're not paying twice is if it was a perfect transaction and nothing was wrong with it. So I understand what you're saying.
That being said, it does add rarity to my item after I already go through all that stuff, because most of the population won't do it. Most of the population gives up. You know, they won't sink those costs, right? So it adds to my value because I'm willing to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we probably need to keep going with this stuff because there's more products. There is now this thing. This thing's called the DecadeBridge Sn. Is that a play on something, Chris? Do you think Sn? Is that like a chemical for like? I don't know what that is. Is it short for sign? Maybe
SN is antimony, so that probably doesn't mean anything. So.
Right, but I mean, maybe it's short for sign because
SN is tin. Sorry, it's tin.
It's tin, yeah. But I don't think it's related. Yeah. So this is an FM synth, so I think it might be short for sign, being a sine wave, synth. Yeah. Anyway, this thing is interesting, and I can show you a little bit of a video on it. I'll just I'll skip to a few spots for you. Typical FM. I think like if you stop that video there, most people will go, "This is why I don't like FM." Right? They probably think it's so digital sounding. It's really like hurting my ears. Blah blah. It sounds like a doorbell, right? Yeah. So we'll keep going. Low pass gate on it.
A noisy circuit.
Yeah. There's that feedback, yeah. So you kind of like that's very DX7-ish sounding. So we're still in the doorbell territory, ring moddy sounding stuff. And some people like that. It's probably like a decimator sort of sound, right? Metallic sounds. I think you guys are kind of seeing that it's a bit of a one-trick pony, Yeah. With some, it's got some interesting, facets to it, like how you can CV control. You can see across the 3 knobs, you've got those CV controls for each of those. The carrier.
What does it cost?
We are looking. It's pretty cheap actually. It's on Etsy. It's only 119 on Etsy at the moment.
It's cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. You're getting a.
I paid almost as much for an Atari Punk module, and it does way less than this. So
yeah,
it's a bit more interesting. Yeah.
You're getting a 20% off. Until the 10th of August on the Etsy page. I should mention to everyone who watches this on the replay that link below where you see the title is the blog article where you can find access to all the images, videos, links, websites, everything that we show on the show. You can see that as we do that every week. It usually pops up around about Sunday or Monday your time. So do give me a chance to actually finish writing it after the show. Okay, let's have a quick chat about this. I can give you some more technical details if you're interested.
Well, I wouldn't buy this.
Yeah?
Wouldn't buy it. I'd buy it if I was going to spend that sort of money. I mean, yes, it is cheap, but for another 20, 30 quid, you can get a Volker FM.
Well, before you get OP6, and you have all those controls. So
before you say no,
I've already said in the chat about OP6 because OP6 is a lot more money, but
not much more for all
the
stuff
the
you
OP6.
get, so
there's so much more on the OP6. Yeah.
So you guys would have noticed that I mentioned that it sounds low. I mean, I didn't use the word lo-fi, but I used things like decimator and bit crushed.
Grungy.
It is a lo-fi FM synth. So they're not making any apologies
just for the
that.
switching, it was like
yeah. So I think they're deliberately doing. I think they're deliberately doing that. There's 7 FM algorithms, each with 3 different pitch settings. The algorithm section can also be stepped using a trigger or gate. You could probably see on that.
That's what we were seeing.
That just above that button, you can see the trigger in, which is handy. So that's pretty good. There's a carrier pitch with a CV input, modulator pitches with CV input, FM amount control with CV input. The output is run through 3 position passive low-pass filters, which turns into a low-pass gate when the VCO switch is down. And there's also a CV signal which is connected to the VCA input. So yeah, I mean it's an interesting take on FM.
No envelopes.
Yeah. No envelopes, just a LPG.
Yeah, so it's kind of makes more sense as a module to me.
I was going to say
it feels like it needs to be part of. Yeah, but I mean these days, anyone can take a semi-modular synth and integrate this into it. Like the Proton we just saw before. You wanted some FM tones, you could get this desktop.
You could do that,
and then you could hook it through your Neutron and away you go, and then it makes perfect sense.
There's also a pretty rich history of fiddling boxes like this, little fiddly boxes that people buy or make or whatever. So it makes sense that they did this.
Yeah,
I wouldn't get it, but
I mean it's a boutique developer, DecadeBridge. He's got other products he's done. So I think there's the Residue or something like that he's done. I'm pretty sure we've shown their stuff before on the show. So Brooksy in chat said that if it was a eurorack module, there'd be a market for it.
I wouldn't buy it, but I would like to have it because it's nice and small, and it sounded not bad. So but I wouldn't buy it because I don't need it. But it looks cool.
Yeah.
So if someone gave it to me
on Etsy,
free,
it's a kit, right? Do you have to put it together?
Doesn't say it's a kit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't say it's a kit. I mean, I'm reading the Etsy page.
It looks fine.
Yeah. Nothing mentioning kit.
Professional looking. So.
There's a website, DecadeBridge.com, if you want to check it out right now, but don't, because we've got other products to show you guys.
Stay tuned, people. Stay tuned.
Stick around. Stick around. Okay, so I kind of feel like if you guys know a little bit about FM, you can achieve this, I feel. If you're in Eurorack, definitely you can achieve this. And also I think you can achieve this with a lot of analog synths as well, with FM modulation and stuff like that. So it's the lo-fi stuff, you can always patch audio through, bit crushers and lo-fi and grungy. I don't know why there's a real thing about lo-fi right now, and it kind of we've spent the last 20 years not making things sound lo-fi, and now we're trying to make them sound lo-fi. It's crazy. It's really crazy.
Well, Trent Reznor always kept the flame burning, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. I mean, I definitely do like some of the lo-fi stuff. There's no doubt about it. All right, let's have a look at the next, and this is the last of the new products that I'm showing today. I kind of stumbled across this on Modular Grid. I don't know much about it in the sense that this guy was CB Electronics. They're based in the UK, and the acronym CB is based on the guy who owns it. His name's Colin Broad. And he's well known for making this X patch system, which is I'll show you guys in a sec. It's on his website, which is kind of like a what do you call it? Like a patchable but controllable patchable system, right? And he's now brought this into Eurorack, and obviously you got these 3 modules now that he's thinking of developing. Now. The first one is the brain, which is called the ER processor, which is a MIDI connections. It's also got an Ethernet port on it as well that you can connect up to computers. And that also has a little sort of microprocessor in it too, where you can assign things to certain trigger gates and all sorts of stuff like that. But you can also bring it into your DAW, and there's a software package as well on that. And obviously the other 2 modules, which is the patch, there's a 16 and a 32 version, which is a routing matrix for audio, CV, and gates and triggers. And each of those can be, assigned in the software. And then the last one is the ER gain and sum, which is obviously a module for audio and CV voltage generation, and he's saying there's more modules to come for this particular thing. So this is kind of, in my opinion, this is kind of similar to what Expert Sleepers do. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. So if you look at the Expert Sleepers range, they've got the ES8, the ES9. That's the digital based audio interfaces and things like that. So the only thing that's different about this though is that this guy's got like a whole software control back end thing with this, where you can integrate it with your DAW. Now let's just pop over to his website. I just want to show you, because it's based on this rack mounted audio system that he built called the X Patch, and I'll show you. So the X Patch is this stuff, and some of you guys may have seen this around. So the X Patch is kind of like a digital controlled analog audio routing and patching system for people that probably have lots of rack. This is probably older sort of style stuff, right? But the people who had the stuff in their racks with the DB25 connectors,
DB25s, yeah,
and they didn't want to bend down to the rack and patch cables. They just wanted to sit at their computer and go, right, I want 25 to now go to 37 on B, and you literally just click a button and it does it. So
it's kind
of a no-brainer to move his system that he's already well known to do and put it into a Eurorack format. You can see a nice little photo of his prototypes up top there too. So more to know about this, I think. We'd like to see some videos. Thanks, Mr. Colin. But he does talk about free OS X and Windows compatible software coming with it. I mean, obviously, we're looking at £300 just for the module on the left, and then £300 for the 16x16 matrix, and I think it's a £200 for the one on the right. So it's a pretty pricey thing if you wanted to get all three. You know, so that side of it, you'd have to be really wanting his system. But USB and MIDI, as well as audio, as well as CV, is controllable through this thing. So that might be the ticket that someone's thinking, okay, cool, I can now put MIDI through a jack, or I can put audio, or I can put CV, or I can put DC coupled based stuff through that and control it in my DAW, and connect all this stuff via, you know, RJ45 Ethernet cables. So there, that's it. We lost Grip. What happened to him? Disappeared. Hope he hasn't lost connection or computer crashed or something. Anyway, he's frozen in time. Anyone want to mention anything? Does anyone know the CB Electronics company, especially you guys in the UK? Have you guys heard of them? Nope. Okay.
Seems his original.
No, sorry.
So can anything go through that device, like audio, MIDI, and CV?
That's what he's saying. Like, so it's a USB control, or through the Ethernet to your computer, and it's so digital. It communicates digitally, and then there's a little brains thing there, right? And then that would you'd be able to send out MIDI or audio or CV DC coupled based stuff through those little jacks. I don't know how flexible each port is. I don't know if it's like every single port is like completely 100% assignable to all those different options, or whether there's set ones. Yeah. But I mean, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the MRCC in that sense, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And
so I use an Erica Matrix little mixer that they have right now.
Yep.
But it doesn't have any way to interface with a DAW or to receive program changes or things like that. It's all, you know, it's a cool device. That's why I was like, "Ooh, if this does that, that could be something."
Yeah, I think that's what it's aimed at. People who probably want to take a bit more modular on the road, for example, and they'd like to be able to recall some particular patches. And this is where you need a completely flexible system like this with a crap ton of inputs and outputs.
I mean, you guys saw the gain module, and I was scratching my head at first when I saw it. I thought, "Oh, what is any of this gain module for?" But then I actually sat and had a think. And there's been situations where I've brought stuff into eurorack or stuff out of eurorack, and it's either really quiet or really loud, or vice versa. So having a gain, some sort of preamp gain module, is actually really, really good, because then you can, you know, you've got, in this particular one, you've got a gain range of minus 96 to plus 22 dB. So you literally are then traveling over the different type of input formats, right?
Yeah, that's an anything goes in, anything goes out type module, isn't it? Yeah. Which is precisely why people would buy it, is they want that scenario.
And then you've got things like you know, like 0.25 dB resolution on those gains, which is quite fine out, you know, that little sort of micro movements, you know, on that. And then with that, you can use it like a mixer, Chris, like you were saying before. Like you've got master groups, mutes and gains and all that sort of stuff. So it behaves that like a little virtual mixer. And his X, what did I call it before? The X...
32, was it?
X-Patch system.
X32, yeah.
X-Patch,
the X-Patch system that he's got interfaces, and it's like, you know, you look at it, it's kind of like software that you can, you know, you're like controlling a mixer from. And, you know,
audio interface.
I think it can do up to 128 points in total, which is insane. Right?
Yeah, well, you can tell that. You can tell us where the sort of the system came from there. You can see the number of DB25s on the back. It's designed for large sound stage type work. It's pro audio orientated. And he's just basically taken that technology and gone, hey, I've got a new market I can possibly get into here called Eurorack. Yeah. So that's,
and there's guys with big modulars. You know, there's like
that's the thing. It's getting
tiny
more common
compared to some of these out there. There's some massive modular system setups, and this is probably.
And dare I say it, there's a few more rock stars, which are now getting heavily into modular, which will not sniff at trying to get a couple of these.
That main processor module. I'll just quickly go back to the graphic. that can control up to 16 modules just in its own. So you know,
it's
with the
scalable.
gains, it's quite scalable. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty pricey, but I mean, this is a boutique.
That's
thing.
why.
Yeah.
You can see what world it's coming from.
The other thing that we talk about too with this stuff too, just so we reminding ourselves, like, what is the benefits of it? We can actually record in our DAW playback from, you know, CV stuff, right? So DC coupled CV stuff, but also MIDI and also audio. So, you know, it kind of gives you that complete flexibility. So this is why I wanted to show you guys, because I thought, wow, this is actually pretty interesting. Not the first stab at a matrix system, but you know.
Are there other solutions like that out there, or is this kind of a newer thing right now?
I think we're traversing over. There are definitely a lot of other solutions, but we're traversing over, I feel like, a bit of a revolution with modular synths, where we talk about this on the show, where I feel like we're going to have digital control over patching. I feel like we're going to have more of this DAW integration. It's a cool place to be right now. I feel like some of this stuff is going to get really, really cool, and we're going to be sitting at our computers, and you'll see your mod. You won't actually have to physically plug cables in and stuff. You'll be able to, you know, less spaghetti, more control. You know, and the digital. Cool. You'll still get your analog signal pass and all that, but you'll have all this digital sort of onion layer over the top of everything.
It takes the fun away from it. You need the mess.
I still think they'll keep that, Andy. I think they'll definitely keep the fun side of it. So it'll be like it'll be dual purpose. You can still patch, but if you don't want to, you can control remotely.
Yeah.
So I've always said I got a lot of oscillators. I have a lot of oscillators and filters already. My plan for modular was to get some effect units, but my concern was how will I kind of digitally kind of control those. I use a software.
Well, careful. That's how I started. I got effects and then went crazy after that. So just watch out.
So I joined the therapy group now.
Yeah, you should. Yes.
You've joined it already, mate.
Yes,
this is a good start.
Welcome.
Oh no,
we're Eurocrackaholics, and my name's Chris.
So I use a tool called Gig Performer, which is a software package, and that controls some VSTs, but I use it to control all my hardware synths. So it even sends program changes over to the MRCC to change, you know, physical MIDI routing and patching. And I was like, well, if I go Euro, how will I start to kind of manage that? Because, you know, if I would do something live, I don't necessarily, I'm playing keys. I don't have another hand to do knobs and wires and cables. So it's having something that it's integrated into Gig Performer that, you know, I punch a song.
Yep.
It's in then go and change.
I would check out Expert Sleeper's stuff. So Oz is the guy. Okay. He's based in the UK. He's an absolute genius. This guy. He understands the world of digital audio. He's got MIDI based control modules. I've got one here called the FH. What's it called? FH2, which is a USB based MIDI control module. And literally just appears in my DAW. You can just map it through. You can map it through MRCC as well. It's class compliant MIDI as well. So you could plug it straight into your MRCC. And the digital audio stuff is like all the ES8, ES9, those modules, DC coupled based, expandable based, you know, little 3.5 millimeter jack type. And then you can either have light pipe or ADAT going into your mixer, or you can have it USB based if you want to do it that way. So it's pretty cool stuff. And that's been around probably for 5-10 years, that Expert Sleeper stuff. So he's very, very deeply he's, you know, the amount of revisions he's done with his hardware, they're quite mature now.
Mature product.
Yeah.
Mature product.
Not his first rodeo.
Yeah. And what you were saying before about you were saying like you wanted to start off with the effects. That's what I started off with. So I started off with like a Roland Scooper, the Ira Scooper module, which was kind of like a, you know, the scatter thing from the the Ira synths, and I had a Strymon Magneto, and these were kind of Euro. And the reason why I nerd out on being able to just get in deep into being able to control effects more than just a couple of pedal knobs on a pedal. I want to go in and CV control. I want to modulate. I want to. Have a look at IntelliGel's C-Legs module. That is an insane delay module. It's insane how much you can control just for a delay effect. Yes. It's crazy stuff. So that's why I wanted to get into eurorack, because it's kind of like, we always say this, it's kind of like the cutting edge part of development of synthesizers and audio and effects, and things that are getting, they're getting made in the eurorack, they end up getting made in mainstream later. So it's kind of like the pioneers. It's cool. It's cool to be there.
Yeah, it used to be that not so long ago that, it would be like, oh, that's a cool module, but I can do the same thing in my DAW. I can just get a VST. It's the same price or less. I guess this one has the tactile control, but it does the same. Now we're at the stage where some of the DSP-based modules are actually exceeding the capabilities of how fast people can actually write VSTs and stuff. And it's there is something changing there. I get the vibe.
Yeah,
I don't know if you see it too.
Well, programming FPGAs, you're not. They might not be releasing those algorithms for computers anyway, so it might just be that they are only ever going to be on hardware. That could be the other thing too.
I think there's a heck of a lot more audio-based developers now working in hardware than there has been. It's just increasing. I think the software side's decreasing. Seems to be people moving camps. Dare I say it?
Yeah, I kind of feel like...
It's just a theory.
I mean, VST plugins have they haven't drastically changed a lot. Have you guys noticed that? Like, in terms of...
It's kind of my point. It's stagnated, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they all do cool things, right? We're not dissing that, but apart from the odd, synthesizer that's come out and they're claiming it for it to sound almost like the original with the latest algorithms and things, I'm still not buying that either. They've been trying that one for years, haven't they?
They get closer and closer, but they never really... The closer they get, the easier it is to tell the difference, in a way.
An argument in track gives you an argument. Have a look at this. Let's wait for that to refresh. You can't beat hands-on that hardware gives you. It's a great argument from argument. There we go. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
I was going to say I use both. I love both worlds, but oftentimes with the VSTs, I always feel like, why didn't they finish it?
Oh, absolutely.
They kind of go,
yeah. Or you get frustrated because of it doesn't connect. To
other things. Yeah,
you've got you've got a Roland VST that you can't load the MIDI files in that you used to be able to on your D50. That sort of stuff. Like,
it's more closed system, isn't it?
Exactly.
Ironically, the software is more closed off than ever.
Yeah,
compared to hardware.
And we can start going down the rabbit hole of ranting about having to re-authenticate every single time you open up your DAW.
Yes. Imagine having to, if we had to license all our modules, in our modulars. It's like, I'll just switch it on. We're doing a gig and, oh no, it needs to authenticate. Hang on. I'll just authenticate. The PAMS doesn't want to talk to anyone yet. It's got to authenticate it with.
Yeah. That's what I love about that, right? I literally have one power switch. I turn it on, it goes boop and up. Everything works.
Yeah.
I don't have to authenticate. I don't have to log into the internet.
You could just shut the whole world off. Exactly. And just play with your modular. That's
what. Well, Ranzee, you don't want cloud-based modules. Everything has to sync and all that.
That's it, mate. You can have those. You can, especially the Microsoft-based ones. They're all yours, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll need a good firewall.
The internet is doomed.
Imagine people trying to do modular on Azure. That'd be awful. Yeah, terrible.
Brooksy's here, everyone.
Hey, Brooksy.
What's up?
Don't say that.
Am I?
You are.
And
you got the right mic
Loud
too.
and clear.
You're a legend, you are.
Yeah.
Look at you go.
Your brother from
I'm a
another
legend.
mother.
Oh, well.
A leg end.
Oh, excellent. Mate, I look like I'm sitting in a washing machine going round and round and round and round. What's going on? What's wrong with this thing? God. Oh, anyway, hello everyone. I thought I'd jump in.
Hey, Pandy.
Jump on in.
Hello, Ian. Hello,
Yep.
Ian. How
Good to
are
see you
we
last
all?
week, mate.
Yeah, it was nice to see you too. It was an interesting weekend, wasn't it?
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, except it wasn't really, was it? Let's be honest.
No.
All right, you guys need to tell me about this because it's not fair. I'm sitting on the arse end of the world here, and I can't get to go to these things.
We got
Why
no
was it
Sorry.
bad? What went wrong?
It wasn't
bad.
It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't bad. It was. We went to Gearfest.
Yeah.
In London. I went down with Neil Wharton, James Glue was there, and got a few other familiar faces, Keith in Watford and the gang.
Keith, yeah.
Robbie, we met Robbie and his lad, and Carl Bedford.
Robert
a few
Fat
people.
Dust was there.
Robert Fat Dust, yeah, Robert was there.
Oh, good on you, Robert.
But actually, it was like what I can't remember who said it. Might have been Robbie that actually said it was like Groundhog Day. It was just the same things. It was like nothing was different from 12 months ago. And
No, they said it was bigger, but I don't think it was.
I was going to ask, was it diminutive?
No,
It actually was bigger?
No, they said it was bigger.
Weren't there for a start.
Korg were not
weren't
there, and
there.
they were listed right at the beginning. I'm pretty sure I saw them listed, but they weren't there.
The only thing that I saw that really had any interest for me that I played with was the TE05, which I commented on when you were showing the UBX thing, and I just fell in love with that. It's the 5-voice polyphony is an issue, but actually in terms of the sound, oh my lord, it's beautiful. Goodness me, it is. It really is nice, and I think Ian, you were around at the time. We had quite a long chat.
We were back to back. I was on the I was the sequential 6, wasn't I? At the same time as you were on 5.
Yeah, we were just clear off, leave us alone. We're playing with these now.
Yeah, it was
come back later. Well, it was nice, but there wasn't an awful lot.
Nothing broke?
That was really. Yeah, give over, Andy. I managed to play the OBX. I managed to play the OBX8 without breaking it, and the TO without breaking it. However, Chris Calcutt did admit that he did break the OBX8 by trying to update the operating system the day before a show.
Good on you, Chris.
The big downside for the whole day was how terrible the food was. I mean, you waited over an hour for your taco.
An hour for a little thing. Yeah. It was just crap.
I don't like it when the food's bad.
I mean, and Robbie went to the cheese van, and they'd run out. It was ham and cheese toasties they were doing.
Well, they're playing Behringer videos there.
They ran out of ham.
Van.
It was just.
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, honestly, I to the extent, I mean, I had a lovely day because I was with people that I liked, having a good time. But actually, the show itself, I'm going to go, I don't think I can be bothered making all that effort for next year. I shall wait for Synth East, Bristronica, and Synthfest. So,
well, Synthfest, you don't have to make any effort for.
For Synthfest, I make no effort whatsoever.
Exactly.
I roll out of bed, get on a tram.
Exactly. I mean, Synth East is not that bad for you either. It's not that bad.
Synth East is about a 3.5 hour drive, perhaps a little longer from here to Norwich, and it's a crap drive as well. It's all.
I'd like to,
but it's a nice drive.
It's all farmland, isn't it?
I'd like to go to a Synth East, but it's February.
Yes,
it's a bit chilly.
It's a long way on. But it's not, if you can make it, I would go. But there's nothing. There's nothing there to interest you at all because it's basically modular. It's a modular event, really.
Well, I am going to Bristronica.
No, he needs to go.
No, it won't.
He needs to go.
No, I'm going to Bristronica. I'm going to 2 days at Bristronica, and that's all about modular, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
true.
Well, yeah, we'll be at Bristronica. Grace and I are playing
Manny's
the
just
after
jumped
party
in.
at Bristronica. Hi, Manny. We got invited after we did the Sonic State EMON. We were invited to play, by Hamish from Elevator Sounds, who basically organised the event.
Cool.
I said, "Can we play a Bistronica? Can we play?" And he went,
What's his name, Andy?
The daytime event lineup's full. Hamish. There's a few of them. There's a chap called Ben. I think there's a girl called Susie, and there's I think it's Susie. Sorry if I've got your name wrong, Sue. And Hamish. Yeah, Hamish is basically dealing with that side of things. So he was playing before us at the Sonic State, or the one not directly before us, but the one before him. He was playing at the Sonic State EMOM in Bath in February. So we chatted with him and said, "Can we play a Bistronica?" He said, "Well, actually, it's booked up. I'm sorry, but you can play the after party. In fact, we'd love to have you at the after party. So we're booked to play that.
Cool.
That's actually official. So I can talk about it now."
Cool.
So Grace and I were talking about it earlier. We're looking at perhaps getting an Airbnb down in Bristol for a couple of days, and just going down, and so that should be good fun. Yeah, and Bistronica, it's actually a great event. I mean, to be honest, Synthfest need to take note. Need to come down and have a look and see what Bistronica are doing, because it was fabulous last year. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
A few years ago, when I think the first or second time I went to Synthfest, they did have music on in the bar. They had electronic acts playing in the bar, because some friends of mine played, and they only did it that year, and then they stopped it, which was bonkers, really.
That's
they do need
because
to do that.
The people that have the bar. This was explained to me actually, but it was Robbie that explained it. That the people who have the bar, they haven't got a live music license.
Hello.
Well, they did. They used to have, because they had a stage at one point.
Hello.
Yeah, but it's changed. Well, people license.
Yeah, it's obviously changed hands, isn't it?
Next door, however, right next door to the Octagon Centre is the Students' Union, and they definitely have a live music license. So, come on.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it's a music event. Well, it's a music instrument event, but to have a music instrument event where there's no live music just strikes me as being lame.
Yeah, it's
really,
weird
in this day and age.
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes some of the big ones, like Super Booth has got the live music in it. That's
exactly.
What makes
yeah, exactly.
It's important.
I have to say that's partly why I'm looking forward to Bistronica, is because there's some really good people on.
Yeah, and that's part of your experience, right?
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah.
You go there, you enjoy the
Absolutely.
acts, you enjoy the chats, and you enjoy the knob twiddling, and that's it. It becomes the whole experience. Yeah.
Proper separation.
If you can make it, Rams, you should try. I know it's a long way to come.
It's a bloody expensive aeroplane right now.
No, it is. Yeah, it is. Oh dear.
Hopefully, we sort out this.
Proper gate crash this, haven't I? I do apologise.
No, we did ask you. We asked you. You didn't gate crash.
Yeah.
No, you invited.
Yeah. I've noticed this time of the year, it's really kind of slowing down with the product releases, because we've been through all the big, the big sort of stuff. I think the next one is
announcements and then actual delivery.
I guess the next one is Summer NAMM, isn't it, Andy? Your world. Are they going to have Summer NAMM in your world? Oh, you're muted, bud. Or if your mic's
Sorry. I muted. I was making noise in the back. By shifting it around recently, I think they made room for it for Summer NAMM, but I don't know if it's ever going to come back. It was supposed to.
Yeah.
As they slowly moved the months back after COVID, they were supposed to have the nice break between the two, and it hasn't happened yet. We'll see.
I mean, obviously, Knobcom is the next thing, in Chris's neck of the woods, right? And that's very soon. So that'll be good. Looking forward to that. Okay. You know what we should do, guys? We should have a look at some crazy used gear. I've still got a couple left from yours last week, Andy, that I'm going to show.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to go bang.
Okay, now time to look this time.
I don't remember which one's going to show up first. Oh yeah, this one. This is the one you sent in. The MC8 micro composer 8-channel analog sequencer manuals box. I mean, it's in pretty good condition.
Yeah.
But 10 grand. It's obviously.
I had one of them
to collect.
Yes.
It's a $2,000 savings.
Yeah.
Alex Ball showed this one on his video about YMO, the Yellow Magic Orchestra.
You can still buy it.
It's only 300.
This
all mine for 200 quid.
This is Australian dollars, by the way, if you guys are looking at this money. So halve it for pounds, so £8,000.
You don't want one of these.
Not for £8,000. Do you know how hard these are?
Marco's to be 10 price. So
it literally sounds like a typewriter when you're pressing the keys too. It's like, can you imagine like listening to that, entering every single line of sequence in manually? But you could trick the missus into thinking that you were doing the accounting while you were.
Are you sequencing or are you a stenographer? Right. So.
Yeah.
Setting up your sequences. Dear me. Anyway, so there's that. So thanks for that, Andy. I think there's another one that you sent in too, which I think when I looked at this, I'm glad that Brooksy's joined the show because he's going to get triggered when I show him this. Here we go, Brooksy. This is just for you. This is just Mark Knopfler's Prophet 5.
See? There we go. I was waiting for that.
He can bloody keep it.
He can keep it, yeah. It's full of a lot of bum notes, that's for sure. No, is.
If it was 35 quid, I might think about it.
It's still available.
Only 2 keys work.
And it's down the road. It's in London.
No.
But apparently
Kent was serviced it, won't he?
Well, apparently it's they're saying that there was a technician that's confirms the ownership and the use. So that they've written that in the verification part here.
That'll be Kent. I'm sure Kent.
No, it won't be Kent. It'll be Kent's. Well, I mean, certainly Kent would have worked on it, but isn't it Tiny?
What's
Kent's
his name?
friend.
Tiny.
He wasn't going to sell it. I can see Kent's comment.
Yeah, it's Kent.
It is Kent, yes.
He said he wasn't going to sell it. So there you go. That's confirmation. Diarrhea.
Tiny Edwards. There you go. I was right. Tiny. Yeah.
I'm not going to ask why he's called Tiny.
Yeah, I assume it's a nickname, yes.
6 tall and 6 foot 6
yeah, he's a massive guy that you meet him down at the pub and he throws you through the window. That's who he is.
Cares within the bog.
I knew you'd enjoy that one, Andy. But yeah, I don't know if I'd be spending
What's
18.
What's love about a Prophet 5?
Well,
and you
absolutely.
get There's DNA on it.
No thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, no thanks.
There's always alcohol swabs.
Don't go licking it. Whoops, wrong one. I want that one. That's what I wanted. There we go. Sorry about all the screen changes. The next one I actually found, and I thought, wow, $116
really?
for an original. Well, no, it's not an original, is it? It's a 1979 mini. It's actually on Reverb as well. This one. So you can actually look at a couple of pages. What is it? Is that like a faux leather cover?
It's embossed cardboard. Card paper. Yeah. Yes.
But
similar to the Roland
what I thought
manuals.
was interesting about this is, I mean, obviously it's got all that you'd expect in there, the waveform explanations and stuff. But then this little cool little fold out,
nice.
And Kent's going, I've seen these.
Oh. Yes, please.
Keep your pants on.
Yes. He sees all the damn things he has to replace.
I don't know. Would you guys pay 100? Like, what is that? It's £60. Would you pay £60 for that?
Maybe.
If you really wanted it.
I don't think it's scammy. I think it's
collectible.
I guess depends who's digging it.
Pages to Sophie, sticky pages. The centerfold was still opening up, mate.
Hey. It's only
Like I said,
computer
Vince
techies
DNA's
and DIY synths. It's gonna make the pages sticky.
Oh, that's hilarious. And then the other one that I found, this one is for Robbie, and now I know he's in the chat right now. I found this one, the 3200.
Oh, wow.
Baby, look at this. It doesn't have the keyboard though. I think he says in his listing. So and it's only, what is it, 3,000 pounds, three and a bit thousand pounds. It's probably not that bad, to be fair, as a listing.
But it's just a computer.
It is basically just a computer. Have a look at that. I mean,
Yeah,
this
quite
is going to make the latest Tangerine Dream album.
Screams that, doesn't it?
There you go. That's a bit more.
3 fans, so it's
A bit more recognisable, right?
Absolutely.
It's going to be really noisy. And you're going to have to keep it in another room.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the voice cards. Wow.
Voice cards.
When I saw this, I couldn't help but thinking about that guy. The what's his name? Chris, the one that was doing. He lives in Los Angeles. The one that was remaking that Fairlight.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Chris
remember
Blythe?
that? Chris Blythe, yeah, the Scottish guy.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Cleaning all those edge connectors.
Got the old floppies,
Oh, look at that.
Ow.
5 1/4.
Yeah. The kid in school last week asked me if floppy disks were actually floppy.
Look at Robbie's comment.
He said, yeah. Oh. Are floppy disks? Were floppy disks really floppy? I went, well, yeah, you could bend
Yeah,
them.
they were kind of wiggly.
Well, they always were. Even the hard shell was floppy inside. So
Yeah, 5-inch, 5.5-inch ones.
exactly.
Yeah.
5.5-inch ones.
So it's a
bigger
Mylar
ones,
disc.
and then when they went to 3 1/4,
3.5, they were harder, weren't they?
Yeah, it's when they're hard, yeah.
3.5. They're plastic outside, but the inside was.
Yeah.
Manny's
the
gonna,
Bernoulli drives. Remember the Bernoulli drive? That was a big floppy, like a zip disk kind of thing.
Manny says he's going to wait for the Behringer version. Imagine if they went to the trouble to remake that.
Wow.
Rack mounted.
Wow.
Actually, that's
It's not
really,
their style, though.
that's a really good segue.
When it comes to the computer side, they always do that their way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you mean. Would be funny.
Yeah. Argument, having a floppy 8-inch is no good to anyone.
You won't get sticky pages if you don't.
Behave yourselves.
Well, it worked okay for
Sorry, couldn't
Sakamoto.
help myself.
So we're finished Price Watch. I mean, I don't know what you guys want to buy. Do you want to buy an MC8 from Roland from the 70s and tell your wife you're doing the accounting? Do you want to buy Mark Knopfler's Profit 5? A mini
Absolutely
Moog
not.
manual with the centerfold,
Yes.
eh?
Yeah.
Or a
It's a mint.
Synclavier
I'll go for that one.
3200.
I certainly have more fun
I like
with
the manual.
manual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this
There's
stuff
something in there
is
for
so
everyone.
intrinsically interesting, isn't it? I always find it.
Yeah.
Okay, now I want to talk
Can I say hi
about.
to Chris, because I've not met Chris before. Hi,
Can-
Chris. How are you?
Hello, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
I just found
nice to
the
meet you
channel
too.
here
Can
today.
I just remind
Yeah, you said
people
earlier, so-
about that? I don't know if everybody's seen it, but Audio Thing are doing a free plugin, which is called Moon Echo by Heimbach.
Oh, yes.
very cool.
I did see
So
it too.
it's
Yeah, I
worth,
saw that.
it's worth grabbing it. I've downloaded it. I've installed it. I haven't done anything with it yet, but and Heimbach's video is really quite entertaining
Cool.
because he
Yeah,
did
they actually bounced it
do
off.
it for
I was
real.
playing with it last
He
night.
did do it
Yeah,
for
bounced
real.
it
Yeah,
off the
It's
reflector
obviously a
on the moon.
simulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
All right.
For all
for
the
free.
flat Earth people out there. So
yeah, what's not to like? Really.
If we get a chance, we can have a look at that. But what I wanted to show you guys is
It's a very cool program.
I'm going to put this over the front of your faces just for a sec, just to remind your memories. So Behringer have been floating this thing out lately, where they're saying this is their take on the Elka Synthex.
Yeah.
And you can see it's in a DeepMind based similar sort of chassis type setup. Now, from what I understand, the whole thing is digital. The whole thing is done with FPGAs. So it's 100% completely digital. So this is the question I've got for you guys. Can we really call it an Elka Synthex when we know that the original Elka Synthex was a DCO? It was analog. It had analog chorus. It had analog filters. Right? Can we call this an Elka Synthex if it's completely FPGA based? Like, bearing in mind that Roland have done a System 8 and they've done Jupiter clones and all that sort of stuff. Over to you guys. How do you feel about this?
I reckon it's gone too far.
About the oscillators.
Yeah, tell us about the oscillators.
Well, as you said that they were DCOs. Now, I don't really ever know what that means, whether it means that the actual wave shapes were digitally produced or whether it was just a digital thing that was controlling the tuning. I don't know about the Elka at all, but I mean, if they are digitally produced waveforms, then the FPGA is just going to produce better quality waveforms, like in the Peak and the Summit synths, because they use FPGAs too. If it's then going through analog filters and amplifiers and and envelope generators, then yeah, hybrid synths have been around for eons, haven't they? Really. So,
but I don't think it is.
I don't think it is digital. If it's like a plug-in in a keyboard, then you'd have to think twice about it. But people are quite happy to go and buy an Elka plugin. But if you're buying an Elka plugin that's got an interface which makes you feel like you're using one, then
yeah.
Well, look at Hydrosynth. It's all digital, but it has modeled filters and everything. It's all digital.
Yeah, exactly. So is
it its own thing?
Actually, are you sure that I thought the Hydrosynth had analog filters? Oh well, maybe I'm wrong. It's just Chris, you said it was a step too far, but it's just a step away, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I just meant it's a step too far if you want to claim it's the same lineage as the rest of their analog recreations.
That's a fair
point. It's fine to call it a Elka, an Elka-inspired instrument, but I think it's a bit to put in the same basket as all the rest of their recreations that are, mostly and genuinely analog. Something about that just doesn't quite sit right.
Well, they probably didn't have a choice with that small case and all that stuff because, a proper Synthex is big, right? So.
Yeah,
it is.
It's just weird to go fully digital. As you said, I think hybrid. It's got a lot going for it.
So my understanding, people are asking in chat, is it just FPGA oscillators? No, my understanding that the whole thing is digital. So the FPGA is emulating the circuit behavior of the oscillators of the original Synthex and the filters and the chorus. It is a complete FPGA, like what Roland have done with the System 8 with a Jupiter
like a plug-out synth.
It's like that, which I don't have a problem with per se. And as Steve Elbow says correctly in chat, an FPGA is nothing like a plug-in. But you can get a plug-in that will emulate or have an emulator that will have an emulator engine that runs an FPGA algorithm inside it. Then that is a proper FPGA plug-in. So in my point of view, I was kind of going back to more of the behavior of the sound. So when we look at our timbre behavior, we can. If you go watch Mark Doty's latest video, right? He was showing about analog sounds, but he was using a digital synth to create them, and all he was doing was just teaching us about the fundamentals of detuning oscillators and the beating harmonics and things like that between two multiple VCOs. You're going to be able to do this in that Behringer synth. They're going to give you they're going to program it to the point where it sounds very similar to a Synthex, and then you will get controls to allow you to, do that even more. I think the biggest test will be to see what that cross mod sync sounds like on it, because that's very difficult for computers to emulate. I mean, I've noticed with the Roland stuff, it doesn't do it well.
A weak spot.
Yep.
Achilles heel.
So a lot of these very specific synths that are coming out, like the Elka, and they did I think the Selena version is out as well. that have been come float around as like recreations. How often will you really use those? Is it going to be a day-to-day synth, or could you kind of get by on making the Selena sound or Elka on a peak or something like that? Because sometimes I'm a little like, if it's going to be a constrained kind of a piece of gear, say, hey, it's very focused on this Elka sound. Are you then boxing yourself in where maybe you could do?
If you're recreating movie soundtracks and doing prog rock, you're going to use it all the time. So
yeah, I guess.
We'll
Yeah,
do quantity tracks, yeah.
I guess
I thought exactly the same thing, Chris, as you did. Because I thought to myself, if you're gonna make this thing digital and it's gonna be able to do an Elka, then you're really limiting. Because digital, the benefit of digital is that it can do a whole bunch of cool stuff, and if you're just cutting it off there, you're sort of saying, okay, well, that's a one-trick
artificially
pony,
limiting it.
Yeah.
You could make it digital emulation, but then make it extended.
I'd go with the plug-in version by Cherry Audio for the Elka X for $40 or whatever it is.
That's a good plug-in. I do have that plug-in. Yeah, I agree.
It is a good one.
Yeah,
I do like that
and
one.
It's a good simulation, isn't it?
So Steve,
I like the idea of
Steve in chat was saying that the Roland stuff isn't FPGA. It is FPGA and it's DSP, and they made a custom chip to load all that digital technology into one, die that they can plug into a synth and roll it out through their factories. It was like the ACB stuff was originally programmed on FPGAs.
Underpowered chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to add.
It's a kind of a hybrid. Silicon chip. Yeah.
But he's right. It's not an FPGA chip sitting in there on its own, like a
regular
Novation
one,
Peak does. The Novation Peak actually has an FPGA in it. Sorry, Andy. I just wanted to quickly add that.
What I always thought would be cool is if like Behringer or whoever would come out with, hey, here is your Elka, your Selena, your all of these vintage kind of synths all in one. You have can't hear me?
Yep, can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, if you have it just on all in one kind of a synth versus each one of these individual releases, because you are using a lot of the same technology. I don't want them to, lose on the opportunity, but it just seems like you could come up with your 60s or 70s classic synth with everything in it.
Yeah. Do a System 8 version, like a plug out, like you're saying, Chris.
Yeah,
but do it with all the classic, 70s, 80s synths. Yeah. It's a great idea. Yeah. Andy, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I really like the idea of individual things that do our thing. So I've got no problem with the idea of owning a Behringer Selena or a Behringer Taurus. And that these, not that I don't have those machines, but I can understand the idea that you've got that and it does that and it does that well. And I suppose that's one of the things that Chris, you were talking earlier about wanting to get into modular. One of the things that I like about modular is that's exactly what modular is. Is it's individual things that do something well, and the bits of modular that I find the most frustrating are the ones that are trying to do bleeding everything.
Too many things.
Yeah, even standalone boxes that try to do everything. Like my history with the MPC is well documented on here. I singularly failed with that particular beast because it's just way too much.
Andy, let's not go back down there.
No, we don't. So I don't mind it. Thank you.
Therapy is available, Andy. You're all right.
That was a pad that was pressed on my MPC just for Brooksy.
Well, it was nice joining you, chap. Anyway, that's me. A box that does one thing well is not necessarily a bad box.
Yeah,
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah. Lord knows I buy like effect pedals and things like that, which are all basically one-trick ponies that are.
And you've got some lovely things behind you, so.
Yeah, right.
I think the big problem here is Behringer's. Behringer's trying to give you what they call the Synthex, but it's it's obviously smaller. It's reduced controls. The guts are all totally different. So it's phony, but it can sound good and it could be fun if someone really wants to have a Synthex, hardware thing. But it'd be very expensive to recreate. Not just the voice architecture, but to add all those pots, add the sliders and whatever is on their switches and stuff. So
exactly,
I get why they do this. It's just they're recycling some of their architecture to do this, and want to call it a Synthex. So I don't know. I mean, if people want to buy it, whatever. But it's not obviously not a real Synthex in any way.
Yeah,
but it might sound decent, and it's going to be cheap enough, hopefully. And look at the Oberheim stuff they just did. That people are saying is not quite there, but it's good enough for people with not much money. So
for me, I nerd out a little bit on the specific things that the Synthex does that I feel like you would have some big trouble trying to achieve that with FPGA. So a couple of examples are that the chorus is analog. It uses BBD chips in it. They're specific BBD chips, and we know Behringer's track record with trying to recreate that sort of stuff has failed. Like if you look at the June's, what do they call it, the June 60 chorus pedal, they didn't even put the correct BBD chip in it. So it's kind of, it's close but no cigar sort of attitude with some of their development is kind of what I feel is buyer beware. But look, at the end of the day, if you're someone that kind of doesn't really care about the nerding out stuff, and you feel like, okay, look, it sounds like a Synthex, and I wanted a Synthex, and it's, I don't know, $600. Hey, let's just do it. Good for you.
You just want that laser harp preset, right? That's
yeah.
You're gonna be playing Run Like Hell for a week.
yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, on the synth, that synth, that's not the easiest thing to program. If you're brand new to jumping into a synth, that's probably not your one to start.
Yeah, it was a bit mad actually. The Synthex was a bit mad to program.
You get that sense from the plugin
because I mean it was an Italian design, right? It was
pretty bonkers.
It was a little bit crazy the way they set that up.
That's why Jar used the presets.
he did. I mean,
like the D50 stuff. Everyone used the presets.
The whole album. What was it? Was it Rendezvous? Rendezvous was the Synthex album, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Who was the other big Synthex person? Yeah, I hate my mental blank. I hate that one. It is like. Well, Stevie Wonder had just about every synth known to mankind, right?
Yeah.
They just give it to him.
Look at Wikipedia here. Martin Gore apparently used it.
So like Jeff Downs would have, right? Maybe not.
Steve Winwood, Jeff Downs definitely in his rig. Joe Zawinul.
Did Rinto Wright have it?
Yeah. I'm thinking it's an American, like US based artist. I'm trying to think of who it is.
Not Herbie Hancock, no.
No, not Herbie. Oh, by the way, speaking of Herbie, he's touring. And guess what city he's coming to?
Wicked.
My city.
Sheffield.
Wow.
He's coming to Perth.
Wow.
Oh, right on.
Get a ticket.
I absolutely am. Yeah. I mean,
he's going to meet the Quokkas.
I bet you he's meeting the Quokkas. If he doesn't meet the Quokkas, he's got rocks in his head.
I'm based in Chicago, so I saw Herbie 3 months ago.
Yeah,
it was like the end of April when he started his tour. So yeah, I'd highly recommend you to go see it. So yeah, he's getting up there. So I don't know how many tours will be left in him. So he's
absolutely, he's getting on, isn't he?
But he strapped on the guitar and did some of the classes.
Oh, good.
Good stuff.
Rocket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. But
I mean, Miles Davis,
Yes.
But that obviously the Headhunters, that's what I want him to do. And I know apparently he's talked about doing, you know, some of those songs from that, and he's doing Future Shock as well, which is interesting, from what I've been told. So I mean,
I
Rocket
thought the
comes
Headhunters
first,
had
so.
something. I thought the Headhunters had something scheduled in Los Angeles at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that ever happened.
I loved when they toured those rocket robots, like the half mannequins dancing around and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Good clip.
Yeah. I'm mental blank. You know what? I'll probably think of this at like 3 a.m. Oh, the Elka Synthex was that band.
Yes.
Yeah.
Put it on
In fact,
Discord.
I think I saw it live. Herbie Hancock playing Rocket. I think he was playing a Synthex in the live set.
Cool.
If I remember correctly. There's an old video. I have to find it.
He was. I mean, there was a. Okay, so you guys probably don't know about this, but there's in Australia the national broadcast of radio is called the ABC. Like you guys have got the BBC in the UK, and in the US you've got a couple. But the ABC did an interview with him only very recently, and he talked about the early days of electronic music and how you guys, you can go and actually listen to this anywhere in the world. You can go to the ABC's podcast, abc.net.au, and go and listen to Herbie Hancock's interview. It's amazing what he talks about. And it was only really, really recent that he did it. But he talks about the early advent of electronic music, like synthesizers coming into music, and how there was this big resistance from key players, and you know, they thought these things were going to take their jobs away, and so they were quite anti it. And then he was just blown away by the sounds that he was hearing, and he was falling in love. Like this was he says this is a lifelong love affair of his. And I love the way he says that, like, because he's quite a positive guy. If you ever, I don't know if you've ever listened to some of the stuff he talks about.
Yeah.
He's really big on positive life choices, and you know, trying to, you know, iron out the negative things, negative thinking, and that. I think it's, you know, it's interesting take on life. But when he talked about how, and it probably stems from this, right? Because he probably went through this battle with people where he was trying to say, hey guys, we need to get these, you know, the Odyssey in, or we need to get the 2600 in, and you know, all these cool, the Mini Moog and things like that. And he's trying to get people to be convinced that these synthesizers they've got a place because they're just doing all these kind of really cool sounds. And then you've got all these traditional keyboard players who are like, no, we don't want that crap in here. And it was just his life. He's gone through all of that, like, and you know, to be still gigging today, it's incredible. It's very incredible, actually. Yeah, I mean, I know you talk to people, and I know some people aren't a massive fan of his music, and I guess it might be because he had that jazz background, right? So he's
a jazzer, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, not everyone's a jazz fan, you know, as you know. But
Chameleon's fun. That's a good one.
Yeah, I played in the jazz rock band before Rocket came out, and we played some Herbie Hancock songs. Believe it or not, yeah. I was just trying to wonder which album they were from. So earlier than that, because Future Shock was '83, so it would have been
before probably
one of those earlier ones. Yeah,
yeah.
You know, I couldn't play like him.
I'm a massive jazz fan, and in a sense, it's probably because of Herbie Hancock that I'm a jazz fan. It may not be completely, totally because of him, but you know, the way my take on it, you know, through my life as a musician, I've always considered jazz kind of, it's the true alternative for me. You know, that's what I feel like jazz is. It's like you go and you play music with people and you jazz out. You know, that's what it is. It's not. I don't think it's cliche jazz. What a lot of people feel that jazz is that, you know, cliche stuff. I feel the true jazz is
proto jazz.
Yeah, it's really what you feel in your heart is that's true jazz. So I've always felt that anyway. That's, you know, maybe it's the name that people get scared of. I'm not sure. Like Chris, you're saying you do blues and jazz, right? So
yeah. So you guys want to hear a crazy Herbie Hancock story?
Yeah, tell us.
So I was in probably 7th grade, and Herbie Hancock's the whole reason that I got into keyboards and synthesizers. So obviously in the US, if you were a kid, you watched Sesame Street. He did a couple episodes.
I remember.
The emu.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Right. So those are pretty cool. So I didn't know this, but then when I was in, it would have been 7th grade. So I'm probably like 12, 13, probably like that. The 2 grades below me, I went to school with Herbie Hancock's niece. And
oh, wow.
So they came and they did I didn't even know that Hancock was the same Hancock as him. And this is before Rocket. So he wasn't like famous to a kid yet.
Yeah.
That was yet to come. So it would have been like 79, 80, something like that. And you're saying that was like 83. So that's when he kind of broke it into when MTV came out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, so he came in, we went into our junior high one day and he had that whole rig set up and did the whole thing like he did on Sesame Street, but for us.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was
amazing.
cool.
Yeah,
I
really
didn't know
cool.
what any of this stuff was, but that's when there was the ARPs, there was the, there was the EMUs that he had and all the synclaviers and all that stuff like that. So that was kind of like, and then that summer, I garbage picked a Kimball organ out of somebody's front yard. They were throwing it away. Brought it back.
Nice.
So that was the, yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that was my.
The rest is history, mate.
Exactly right.
Fantastic.
My bank account has never forgiven me yet.
No, but your ears absolutely love you.
Yes.
What can I say?
And your soul.
You're going down the
Is
modular
going to
route.
hate you.
Your soul.
Yeah, right. So, but anyhow, yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. But you're talking about jazz, and something I just discovered lately. So I'm a huge jazz fan because I learned. So when I had the Kimball organ, the first thing that I learned is, well, I had my dad's records, and he had some Jimmy Smith. So that was my first exposure trying to play, things like trying to figure out root down and stuff like that. Then I got into synths after that. And the first one I got was the Chroma Polaris 2, a Fender Rhodes synthesizer.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of it's an interesting beast, the Polaris, isn't it? Like it's not.
It is.
Is that the one with the blue buttons?
It is, and all the buttons.
Yeah.
So much of all the pressure buttons are all broken, and I've been looking for replacements, and I think it's totally dead. But it was one of the first synths that actually came with MIDI built in.
Yeah.
Like an add-on card. You still had to use data backup was to a cassette player over some weird cable, and it actually even had a SCSI port on the back of it, so you could hook it up to some kind of external tape or something like that at the time, something proprietary. But
I think we've
but
shown.
Also, one last.
I think
thing.
we've shown one before.
A Polaris 2?
Yeah, I think we've shown one.
Yeah, I have it, but mine's in sick bay. I don't know what I'll do with it. So
send it to Kent. He'll sort it.
So one last thing that I do have that'll probably make you laugh is I do still have a functioning 8088 computer that's running DOS 3.2. Has one of the very first MIDI cards that were made for a PC, and it's running.
Is it the Roland one? No.
I think it probably would have been a Roland, and
yeah, it's Roland MPU 401. Something.
There you
like
go. That's it. And then and it has the green screen monitor, and it's running one of the original versions of Cakewalk, which is one of the first MIDI only applications at the time. So, and it still fires up. When I got it, people were like, "What are you going to do with all this disk space and memory it has?" What do you think?
Yes, you'll never need more than 1 meg.
1 meg.
Exactly. It has a button on it, so I could do a boost from 4.77 megahertz if I push the button.
Turbo.
I could go up to
turbo button. Yes. Love the turbo buttons.
And I kept it.
And like this, my first corporate gig, it was mostly a company doing Apple stuff. So I was mostly a Mac guy back then. But my office my first office, had an 8088 sitting there that hadn't been used for. It was all dusty. Had the keyboard. And I said, what the hell is this thing doing here? Yeah. So what is this thing doing here? I was going to throw it out, but I kept it for years actually. But finally couldn't keep it. It was just too much extra crap. But I did have one for a while. Yeah.
Now I think we showed the Polaris 2 really, really recently. I think it was around here somewhere. I'm just going to take a stab. Price watch. Sorry for the scrolling. There you go. Fender Chroma Polaris 2.
Well done, Rant.
Look at
Excellent
that.
memory.
It's still on there.
Wow.
It's still on eBay.
Yeah, of course it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
There she is. That's her right there.
That's minty.
Yeah.
Very minty.
So
Yeah.
that's in good shape. Mine's the buttons are cracked in.
Yeah, the membrane
later.
buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah, need a battery replaced in it, a few other things, but
I don't know if I'd be spending
that's
that
how
much on it though. $5,500. Wow.
no, it's not worth it.
Yeah, no, it's not worth that.
There was a recent live stream by Culture Vulture. He did a Polaris thing. It sounded amazing. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was great for 1985. You know.
Hell yeah.
No, it still sounds. It has some cool tricks in it. It sounds nice.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's very 1985-y kind of a thing. And
That's a bit of a drive for you, Chris. Though that's in Nashville, so you probably don't want to go down there. all those crazy, country guitarists, right? You don't want to go anywhere near those guys.
Yeehaw.
I mean, they might love you a bit with the blues, I guess. You probably have to go a bit further south to New Orleans, right?
They love the boogie woogie.
They love the boogie woogie, yeah. That's it. Wow, there you go. So yeah. So I kind of feel like, when we do this show and we put all these little products together and stuff, I always feel like the price watch segment really kind of is special, because what it does is it brings back connections with people with I had that synth, or I knew someone that had one and I went and played it at their studio or their place or whatever, and I kind of feel like that's like a little side benefit that we get out of that segment. We're not just talking about buying it and selling it and things like that. It's not just the accounting side of it, right? We're talking about our experiences with these bits of gear, and maybe it was your
Even
favorite
bad
artist.
experiences.
Or with the Dire Straits one, that's for sure. Hey,
Exactly, yeah.
Well, I played the Polaris at Music Ground in Doncaster. What on earth was a Polaris doing a Music Ground in Doncaster? I've no idea, but it definitely was.
Music Ground in Doncaster is a good place.
I've never seen a Polaris in real life. I've never seen one.
Yeah, they had a Music Ground in York as well.
Yeah.
They did, yeah. And Leeds.
Yeah.
Chris, have you ever seen one?
Yes, I forgot about the Leeds one.
Not me.
I think, like,
but I haven't seen a lot of things I don't get out much.
Yeah, we're hermits. One of the problems we've got where we live is it's a bit like distance is a problem with everything. If you a lot of the stuff that I saw when I used to live over in the eastern parts of Australia. Okay. The 80s and 70s. I saw Fairlight for the first time. I saw DX7 for the first time. All that stuff I saw in those days. But since I've moved over here, I've seen a lot more ARP gear living in this city. I kind of feel like it's had a bit of a love affair with ARP, because usually gear sort of hangs around, right? It doesn't. When you're talking about these massive freight charges, right? You don't want to move big pieces of gear around. But there is actually a 2500 here in this city.
Yep.
So, which is, there's not that many in the world, 2500s, right? But for me to be able to go and touch one in real life was a pretty cool thing to do. And I think, like, you guys, you know what this feels like, right? You've seen and heard of these iconic synthesizers that have been around for a long time. The first time that you ever get your hands on one, in recent days, it's a pretty cool experience, isn't it? Like you've lived life thinking, I'd love to be able to touch, like we talked about the Elka Synthex, right? I've never touched an Elka Synthex in my life, because there's not that many of them where I live. So I really don't have that sort of personal experience with it, which I would love. I would love to sort of go and touch one and play with it, and other than watching YouTube videos, right? So
yeah, you'll have to come to Synthfest.
It's fun to touch
there every year.
That's true. They do.
It's fun to touch these old things, but a lot of times I'm disappointed by the horrible key beds. They're just horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't play,
How
it's
the hell
not a
they got-
problem.
I mean, Daren and I are just,
I know, but you still want some expression.
we're just doing that, aren't we?
Yeah, no.
We
I
don't
can
need a
play bit,
keypad.
so- Where we're going, we don't need keypads.
Yeah.
And,
Someone mentioned, who was it that mentioned before that 5 voices is a, was it you, Andy Brooksy? That on the you said on the Teo, you said 5 voices might have been a bit of a limitation on it.
You can definitely hear the voice stealing.
Right.
If you decide that you're gonna do a little arpeggio-y bits and a few chords, you can definitely hear it. But actually, that gives its own
exactly
sort
Character.
of sound, like the Prophet 5.
Yeah.
You listen to like Bet Davis' Eyes, you can hear the note stealing
Yep.
on that.
The note stealing,
and
I mentioned last week.
Yeah, so but it's just, you just got to remember you can't play more than 5 notes if you're actually good at playing.
Also, the short keyboard makes it more forgiving too, right? So
yeah, and that little trick that it has up its sleeve of separating the final octave or octave and a half and putting it an octave lower than that's really clever. It honestly, it makes it sound like you've got more of a range. So I was just really taken with it. So the 5 voices, yeah, it's a limitation, but with that sound, who cares?
yeah, that sounded good.
I mean, I think if you know that it's got a limitation, you're going to play it with that predetermined knowledge. Like when I play the mini log from Korg, I know it's only got 4 voices, so I'm not going to expect this thing to do these massive 2-handed, spreaded chords,
power chords or something.
Yeah,
so you play differently. Yeah.
And if you know that going into it,
I mean, it's all monophonic per layer. So when you start doing chords on it, you can, but your note's stealing like crazy because it's stacked monophonic layers. Right? So.
Chris, is your Moog 1 a 16 or an 8?
16.
Yeah, good man.
Yeah.
Have you had any issues with the tuning and all that sort of stuff? If you had to go through the firmware updates, or have you been pretty lucky?
Yeah, once I put on 1.5, it's been very stable. So
Okay.
I mean, you still want to give it a good 20 minutes to kind of warm up. But I do the same thing like with the OB as well.
Yeah,
it needs a little bit of warm up time and then tune it, and then it's been pretty been rock solid. Unless you were really doing things like really like more mono synth sounds, did you really notice it before? I mean, you really had to get deep into the weeds, I think, to hear a lot of the tuning issues that people were talking about. But they did on the 1.5, the sound sounds a lot better dry. So there was some improvements done there. I don't know what they did, but it did make that part sound a lot better. So if you don't want to use the Moog effects, you can go out there. So
was that to do with the way the what do you call it, the internal overdrive worked with the filter or something? It was maybe coming in too hot through the signal path or something.
Yeah,
something.
Because there was a noticeable difference if you ran in like the normal master outs, and versus if you just went to direct from the external the other outs that they had on it. They were for like effect loops.
Yep.
And that was a much more like, oh, there's the Moog sound.
Yeah.
But after one time, they got that patched up. So.
Yeah, interesting. It's kind of in a way it's kind of sad that they've said that they're not going to be making very soon. They're not going to be making any more of these.
I did hear that
good for you.
It was discontinued. Yeah. Well, yeah, it is. So people, it's going to be one of. It has its own sound. It's. I was when it came out, I'm like, what idiot is going to spend $7-10K on a synthesizer of especially a Moog based on the history of the poly Moog and things like that. And I saw some people were playing it, and then I went and played one at Sweetwater. They had one, and I just fell in love just with the sound of it. I really liked it. It was and I like to play keys, so I like to play piano and organ, and it was just, for me, that was a perfect kind of thing. And then you had the 16 voices, so I could really, use all my fingers when I wanted to play.
Yeah, yeah, true.
So,
And you can thicken those
but,
voices up and make it 8. You could unison 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I know for some people may say it's not a good synth or maybe overkill, but from my playing style, it is. So it was great. But,
what's kind of like your go-to on it? Is it like a big thick pad or a brassy sound? Or like what do you sort of like to do the most on it?
It's going to be more of a piano-y kind of a sound. It's going to be more like synth, a little more, well, I don't know.
A brighter or a dull piano?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Kind of virtual. Yeah.
Like an e-piano.
Yeah. So that one's kind of a sitar-y kind of a sound there, but it's great for scoring. That's what I was just using it for. So, then obviously I do some pads on the OBX. The reason I got that OBX, so funny story. People are like, why did you spend $5,000 on that thing? You could have waited and got a Behringer or done other things. So went into a music store with my dad, and I'm like, hey, we got to check this out. I want to buy this synthesizer, and maybe you can lend me some money to get it. And I walked in, and it was an OBXa A, which is what Van Halen was using at the time. Yeah, because Jump had just come out. Yep. And I remember my dad looked at me and go, that synthesizer costs more than our car.
Yeah, right.
And that was the conversation. Walked out.
Wow.
That was my life goal, was to always have an OBX.
Yeah. So, it's actually kind of cool that you say that, because like we look at the price of a used Oberheim, and we probably think, oh my god, I'm not going to spend 16 grand on it, or 10 grand. But that's not what the price of a car is. And they originally were the price of a car.
Yeah. Exactly, they were.
Yeah. Exactly. So technically they've gone down in price.
Need to look
they have gone down, but the
inflation calculator or whatever it is.
But I had the biggest smile on my face when that thing showed up. So that's why when people I don't talk about other people's gear purchases, because I have an 8-voice.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not much modulation capabilities and things like that. I love the sound. The filters are great. So
yeah, it's pretty special sound. No doubt about it. Groovy. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up, guys. I think we got through all the topics.
Is this a weekly thing you guys do? Is this every Saturday?
Every Saturday. Yeah. Been doing it for well over 5 years now. Every Saturday. We're at, what are we at? 257 episodes in now. Yeah, welcome back, mate.
To the game, all right.
Welcome to the gang, Chris.
Join us again.
Come anytime, Chris.
Still don't know what we're on about.
Yep.
Yeah, subscribed.
It's true.
$5, so by myself. Usually Saturday morning. It's a Saturday morning for me, so I always get up and fire up all the keyboards, and so this is perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of cool because like people, they come and go as they need to, and it's pretty cruisy. We chew the fat, you know what I mean? Like, so every week there's always something different to talk about. So definitely love to have you back on in the future. That'd be good.
You've done it now, Ranz. There'll be nothing to talk about now. There'll be tumbleweed.
That's it.
Well, don't forget Henrik's thing in a couple hours.
So that's on JX3D's. If you go to YouTube and you search for JX3D, there'll be another show in about 3 hours, isn't it, Brooksy?
I've got to go to Rotherham, so I won't be.
I'll be snoring.
Yeah, about
over 3 hours.
There's an electronic night here in Frome called Breeze Block Beats, so I'm going to go to that to watch some stuff.
Wicked. Nice.
Yeah.
Are you playing?
So no. I've asked them if I can play at some point in the future, so we'll probably discuss that while I'm there. But no, I'm just going to go and watch.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Making connections, networking.
Yeah, exactly. Networking. It's that networking thing.
Yeah. They're saying some nice things about you in chat, Chris. So Sophie Music said Chris is a value-added addition for sure. So yeah.
Nice to see you.
Awesome.
Yeah, great coming on.
All right. Well, we'll all wave goodbye and wish you all.
Wave goodbye.
Make sure you press record.
Ranz, by the way.
Hi, everybody.
What's that, Darren?
Your Zoom call work. We've got another guest on.
It does work. No one believe me.
It does work. Yeah.
Every now and again, it works. Ranz. Hell, who'd have thought it?
Yeah.
I'll be in touch about doing a modular thing with Ranz at some point when I break up from work in a week, and so then I'll be more ready.
Nice.
But
Right,
I'll get that.
Oh, mate, we'd love to have you back. We missed you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I got my nose to the grindstone at the minute, so back in the summer holidays, I'll be around a bit more.
Awesome.
Anyway, yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Cheers,
everyone. See you later. Enjoy.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Take care, everybody. Andy, Chris.